All right. All right. If I am too loud, let me know. I blew my earbuds, so they're a little bit wonky. So I have a little bit of a kind of like a raspy kind of sound in my ear. So it's really irritating. I have to get new earbuds. So if you can hear me, let me know. If I'm too loud or too quiet, let me know. Because Lord knows, sometimes I'm too quiet, sometimes I'm too loud and obnoxious. So give me a heads up. Um, good, 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 good. I have two panelists on their way. But you know, I'm pretty open, and I don't have kiddos and things like that. So like I don't have as many household duties as a lot of folks do with kids. So they're welcome to join when you get the chance. But I thought I'd try. I thought I'd try to actually cam up for once. I've gone gray, as you know. So I just thought I'd point it out so that nobody points it out to me, because I'm aware. I'm aware. I sound braless. I definitely have a bra. Like I'm a triple D. I need a bra. That's too much. So anyway, so thank everybody for coming. I'm just looking through the list here, and I want to say hi to everybody. But I guess first I'm just gonna address my super chats, my super chats. Just saying thank you for your $27.99. Hey Holly. Hey, just saying. If you want a seat in the panel, there's a seat for you. I sent the link in 2 different places. So, but if something came up, I know that you got things going on. Totally get it. Appreciate you. Everything helps. Shaking my penny jar here. So awesome. Gretchen, good to see you. Long time no see. Great way to end your day. Well, good. I'm glad we can hang out at the end of your day and unwind with you. So that's awesome. Appreciate your $10. And Sheba, thank you for your super chat and $20. Both Sheba and Justine have been very supportive of my channel and just me just in general. So I appreciate you guys very much. It's very kind of you guys. If you're in the crowd, please feel free to like and share if you can. I do appreciate that as well. As I don't go live very often, because of that, I fall out of algorithm, and a lot of people don't get notifications. So oftentimes when people do click the link, when they do click the link, it's usually because someone shared it. It's almost always. In fact, YouTube tattles on y'all, and it'll tell me how many times things are shared and kind of where they're shared to. Not specifically, but like if it's Discord versus Twitch, or not Twitch, Twitter. I will not say X. Twitter. You know, it'll at least kind of tell me which directions it goes. So, and then I can kind of see like where audiences are generating, at least, and kind of tells me. But it's definitely not from the algorithm, I'll tell you that. Shadow Tier, thank you so much. $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Very cool. Shadow Tier, and I go back way back in the days to the great debate days. So appreciate you very much. And yes, that's me in the picture behind me on drugs. I was just high, okay, on marijuana. It's fine. But you can tell in my eyes that I'm a little bit woo. Anyway, I'm just gonna say hi to everybody in chat. Finn, good to see you again. It's been a while since you've had tickets to the circus. Well, welcome. Hopefully you'll be entertained. The fucking foot again, Spackle. Yes, the foot. Let me tell you about the foot really quick. I got a story about the foot. So I may have trolled Cheshliar on a guy account, and all I said was, hey, Cheshliar, in the middle of Steve's like philosophy rant, like serious discussion with serious guests, in the middle of it, I'm like, Cheshliar, you know, I bet you have sexy feet. Like, you should show your feet more often. And so she did, because she's thirsty. I want the attention. I'll show my feet. It doesn't matter that Steve's talking in the middle of everything and having a serious discussion, I'm going to put my foot on cam. And I figure, like, you know, why not? She'll be on the witness stand putting her foot as well. So Cheshliar with her foot. Yes. Evidence. Yeah. So yes, with the foot again. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, yeah, I wanted to see if she'd do it for attention, and she would. She would. The answer is yes. Pick me, girl. Pick me, girl. All right. Let's see. Going through the list again. Sheba, good to see you. I said hi to you earlier. Belinda, good to see you. Josh, good to see you. Welcome to the madness. Lucifer Almighty, also from the great dirt bait days. Good to see you. Maya, good to see you. Popcorn. Yeah, lots of popcorn. Yeah. Maya has her own channel where she discusses bad science on Sundays. And boy, is there some bad science. Oof. Pretend Fashionista, hello. Grace Case, hello. Good to see you. Miss Cassandra, good to see you. Carly, no Twitter. Good to see you. No Twitter, just so you know. Don't you try to reach her on Twitter. She don't have it. Gretchen, good to see you. And going through the list. Did I miss anybody? I don't want to miss you. Maya, you changed your avatar. You changed your avatar. Ronnie, good to see you. Hans Moist Thunder Nipples, good to see you. Van the Man, good to see you. Van the Man. I think I'm rivaling you for who's the grayest now. I don't know. We'll have to have a contest soon. Spooky Bed Hair, good to see you. I sympathize with the gray. Yeah. So when women go gray, they go, hey, Grams, nice gray hair. When men go gray, they go, oh, silver fox. I'm just saying, there's a double standard there. Okay. I had a friend go gray. And yeah. So I started, my first grays happened when I was 18, and it just sort of spun out from there. Like, and then for the longest time in my 30s, I had the Dr. Strange, like white stuff going on. And so I was like, I'm going to dye that. It's a little too much. But since COVID, my hair started falling out from the root, like Welsh, but my footwork's fine. I'm going to go to hell. I'm going to go to hell. But instead of, like, you know, just trying to dye my hair, I thought, well, maybe let's take one of the stressors out, because I was also having some allergic reactions too. So I don't know if it's autoimmune or COVID or what. So I took a break for a while. I might go back. I kind of miss having brown hair because that's what I had most of my life. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Please do that. But I kind of also like to be gray because it's a little counterculture. And so fuck you guys for making me dye my hair. It's obligatory. Fuck that. Why do we have to do that? Ha. All right, RT, good to see you. Let's see. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anybody. Oh, here we go. We have proof that Spackle is a foot fetish flagger. I don't know. I just know if everybody shows their feet, I probably will screenshot and be like, look, here's another person showing their feet, because I think it's funny. You'd be great on Bad Science Sunday. Oh yeah, that would be good. I like social issues. I'm more of a social issue psychology, kind of like all that kind of stuff. So if you have it in that kind of section at some point, which I know psychology is a soft science and some people don't like it, but you know, if it's in that realm, I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. So Sheila, good to see you. Going through. All right. So if I missed you, I apologize. Yes. Well, Godless Girl also put her foot on camera when I said Annabelle won't join this hangout to talk to you until you put your foot on camera. So Godless Girl put her big ham foot on camera, and for some reason there was like newspaper and Nair. I don't know why. And that is the start of why Godless Girl hates me. I have two people in the state of Florida that want to fight me. One is JJ and one is Godless Girl. They both have challenged me to a fight. JJ challenged me to fight, though, within 15 minutes. 15 minutes that took JJ. That's an all new record. I've never gotten somebody to want to fight me in 15 minutes. There's something wrong with Florida, man. I'm sorry if you live in Florida, but we're gonna have a rescue operation for some of y'all because there's some like really off the rocker people. You got Reg Rhetoric, you got Godless Girl, you got JJ, for goodness sakes. Oh my goodness. Kitty the Atheist, good to see you. You have my back. I'll call you up and be like, yo, help me. This crazy woman with a very pointy chin wants to fight me. Help. Who is JJ? Not that JJ. There's JJ, the philosophical cock blocker, and that's who you're thinking of. That's different. That's a guy JJ. There's a female JJ who does not like it when you ask the question, JJ, why are your PJs like 3 sizes too big? Apparently that was very upsetting, and you're not to ask that question. So that was not okay. Stay out of Florida. I don't know. I've got a bounty in Florida, apparently. I wonder if it's the humidity. Maybe it is. JJ's the weirdo that pretends she's not bothered. Well, she's bothered. She's definitely bothered. I'll tell you that. It's Shyla, not Sheila. My bad. Shyla. You know, with a name like Deidre, which has been said 5 million times on Dragnot stream, Deidre. With a name like Deidre, I get Deirdre, which is also my name. Like, it's just a different spelling. It's with an R, but it means the same thing. It's got the same root origin. So I get Deidre and Deirdre. But what I get bothered by is when it turns into Debbie. And I'm like, I'm not a Debbie. Like, that's not even close. But I'll forgive Deirdre. Like, I understand people pick what's familiar to them. But I will try to be better about that. Shyla. All right. All right, perfect. All right, I did have a guest in the back that I was going to bring up, and she disappeared and vanished. Look, y'all, I cannot bring up panelists if you're going to disappear on me. I'm just saying. So, well, I guess I'll just go for it. I was going to introduce my guest, but there we go. All right, just for fair warning, I'm going to bring you up, okay? Don't be scared. I don't want to frighten you guys. It's like a baby deer, and I don't want to frighten y'all. All right. Don't frighten the baby deer. All right. So my guest is JC Dogood. Hi, JC.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I keep accidentally knocking myself off here, so if I disappear,
Okay.
it's because I'm...
If you're on the phone, it gets kind of tricky. It's one of those things.
Yeah, so if anybody says something to me in the chat, I may not see it.
Okay.
Simply because I don't want to boot myself out.
I'm going to bump you up a little bit. I think you're a little quiet. So I'm going to try.
Am I any louder now?
There. All right. Say something. Say something. JC. Say something. I'm giving up on you. I didn't mute you. I turned you up. Edit. Yeah, you're there. Hello. No, I didn't mute her. I promise. This is mute. Oh, and you're gone. And you're gone. That's the thing with that is the thing with going on your phone. It's tricky. Oh, I got a message. What did it say? Okay. Where's the join link? Not here, Van, because we're gonna be talking about things that you probably were not following. So I need to have like people on track. This isn't like a open hangout in this case. There we go.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes.
Okay.
I could hear you the whole time. I don't know what happened with my...
I was trying to make sure your volume was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me. Hello, hello.
JC Duguid has her own channel, and you stream about things like The Handmaid's Tale, I remember, and the
Yes.
Murdo child.
Who knows how it's really pronounced, but the family pronounces it Murdoch, even though it's spelled Murdauh. I'm not necessarily a true crime channel. I just happen to live in South Carolina. I was very interested in the goings on, so I talked about that for a while and just, what other random thing I want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of eclectic on your channel. So am I, though. I kind of do whatever I want. So there's that.
Very much so.
Sorry, I had the wrong banner up, so I can understand how it's false advertising trying to bait you. Come join. And I'm like, just kidding. You can't come in. So sorry for that. All right. So I was trying to determine who I wanted to watch. Did I want to watch EKC, which really was lackluster, or do I want to watch Cheshliar, who I cannot stand, absolutely cannot stand. I mean, they're both problematic. I would say it's like liar versus liar. And so I have a really hard time with either one of them. I mean, we nicknamed Cheshliar. So let me tell you about Cheshliar real quick. Cheshliar is the one that accused me of being on the dark web. Me, not Erin, because she had Erin on her shows actually back then, but me on the dark web, which I'm not. And that I wanted to bait and encourage people to themselves. And that definitely is not me either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that's a lie that she's told about me. She accused my friend of essaying Red's rhetoric in an airport. That also is a lie. To defend Steve. This was all to defend Steve. Every lie she's told, it was to defend Steve. She said that Nate the lawyer was a dirty cop, and she just recently reset it on her stream once again. She said that Nate the lawyer beat his kids. She said that Nate the lawyer was not a real lawyer. And she said Dragnet is a registered sex offender. She's got a role. She has a way of just telling lies and going and going and going and going. Steve and her said that we take bets on if somebody's going to go, themselves. And that is not true either. So, yeah, she's got a rolling list of lies she tells. And so I do not trust her as far as I can throw her. I don't care if she's a witness for somebody that is a plaintiff against the people I dislike. She's a problem too. So it is liar versus twisted person. And EKC is twisted also. TCC has a habit of going, Roadhog's not really that threatening. It's, he's not terrorizing women. I don't want to deplatform him. You all want to deplatform him. Free speech, free speech, free speech. CP, it wasn't that bad. It was laughable. She has a track record as well. It's just stickers. Haha.
Right.
She has a track record of being very twisted. So they're both very twisty. They both lie. And so it's really kind of interesting to see them against each other. Kind of mind-blowing in a way. It's just bizarre. Because I see Cheshliar as the person that is, she was the PR person, the spin doctor for Steve for a very long time. And she did not care who she hurt in defense of him. And now, in my opinion, the person that's taken her place has been EKC. So it's been kind of interesting to see these two go head to head. I do not trust them as far as I can throw them. They're both snaky snakes. I do not care if she's your top witness and I'm sympathetic to the plaintiff. She's a creep. So anyway, just saying, welcome aboard. Hello.
Hey, just saying.
Hey. Hi. Sorry, I had to kick my son out of the basement. He was playing PlayStation. I'm like, gotta go. Book club starting. Or podcast club.
I like book club. Starting.
This week we're gonna go over Jane Austen's Emma.
I might have to mute at times because everybody is home.
Everybody's home. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
So what
everyone in the
Justine's saying is-
basement?
No, I kicked my son out. I kicked my son
Just-
out. But you're going to be hearing like,
Justine's embarrassed
Mom,
of us. That's
can
what
you
it
do
is.
this? Sorry?
You're embarrassed of us. That's all.
No, I just don't know how to explain you all.
Lucy says, I can't stand listening to either person. Would you consider a dramatic reading of their transcripts? Maybe. Maybe. That would be pretty funny. She
I've been
essentially,
talking with a few people about whether or not the transcripts will be sealed or unsealed, and whether or
Mhm.
not I feel like it would be very interesting if it's not.
I can't imagine that they wouldn't be. Aren't all, unless it's it's to protect a very, like a
Right.
child
If
or
there's
something.
anybody that needs to be protected in it, it will. But
Right.
yeah. So yeah, that's
it'll
the thing.
be
If it's
an
like a
interesting
RO
read
kind of
for
thing.
sure. Yeah.
Right.
Can I play the bailiff that served Veda in EKC while they were in court for contempt?
Oh my gosh, that's killer. That's funny.
Do you think that after the judge and all those involved that work in the court had to go have like a drink or two and be like, what the hell was all that? Why are we here? What YouTube crap are they talking about? What is this?
Yes.
I don't know, but I made a martini. It's in the wrong kind of glass. Ugh, it won't pick up on my camera, but I needed some whiskey for this. Like so it's in martini form this time, but I was like, I need a drink if I'm gonna review Cheshire. I need something to get through this.
For sure.
Did Cheshire say you could have an abortion up to 3 years old? She said that she believes in some cases you should be able to abort up to 3 years old, and then made the joke, oops, I dropped it. And we're like, Cheshire, that's infanticide. Like, you can't have an abortion at 3 years old. That's stupid. But she's called 62 IQ for a reason. So there's that. Is
Wasn't
this a rum
that
and Coke
also
night?
in like
Maybe.
regard? Oh, sorry. Oh gosh, don't say rum and coke. Wasn't that in regards also to people who were either born with disabilities or intellectually disabled as well? I feel like that was in that same family when she was talking about
Yes. Yeah.
often 3-year-olds. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's bizarre.
so nice of you.
Yeah, she's an odd one. She's kind of scary sometimes, the things she says. But some people really love her, like Dapper Dino. They'll do anything for her. It's interesting. Even make really dumb robot videos. We knew it was you, buddy. But yep, it's kind of weird. Anyway, I like to show like this live chats because they're usually kind of funny to watch as well. For those of you that are like me, easily amused. I really haven't watched this yet, so I don't know where all the interesting parts are.
I'm in her live chat a couple times because I had to ask a couple questions, so nobody judge me. Or do. I don't care. Or do.
I'm joking.
Like sometimes I join live chats that are. I did the thing where I try to get rid of top chat and go to live chat, and then it goes blank on me. I hate that. 1 second. Cannot stand that glitch. Why do we even have top chat? Does anyone know? Like, it's the most useless feature ever, and I don't know why we even have it.
Is it like MySpace? Like you get to put your top 5 favorite comments in the top? I know it's not, but I don't know why hearing top anything like that reminds me of the MySpace days. For those of us who are young enough to remember MySpace.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on top chat because anytime I try to flip it, it doesn't want to behave. So let me fix the volume on it though. Ooh. All right. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. if it'll let me. Aha. All right, just saying is in and out. There you go. Welcome back.
Sorry.
Welcome. All right.
I love when
so
you
I'm
say
gonna
sorry, just saying.
Everybody seems to love when I say sorry, but I don't
Sorry.
get it.
Not give me she
No,
didn't
I
give me
don't
any
say
shoes.
sorry.
No.
I
She
say
did give me this
sorry.
hilarious
Can you hear
little
the
crystal
scream?
ball though. And if
Sorry. It sounds like there's like a W in it when Canadians say sorry. There's a W in it for sure. So I guess like Charla gave, or sorry, the plaintiff gave Cheshliar some swag.
if you turn it on and you ask it a question, very doubtful.
Oh, now we're loading because they made it bigger.
Was really nice of them. Help me get to and from. They were lovely.
That skipped way ahead.
Able to talk about and what I am going to be able to tell you. Specifically because the court case is still ongoing, if you had not heard. So if you're unaware that we were not able to finish the entirety of the hearing in one day, so 2 more dates have been scheduled, and if I'm not mistaken, the month that's in has already been leaked. Not that I think that that's necessarily appropriate, but that
Stitching for
it's in May.
For chat 1999. Appreciate you.
I am aware of the current date, but that's subject to change, like the exact day, but that's subject to change. So I'm going to go through some of the questions. We'll start with going through the questions. That's feisty. That's a good question. I'll go through the questions that I have first, and then I'll start getting them from chat. My sister gave me a whole philosophy box for Christmas.
A philosophy box.
Wow. Are they all like, do they all smell this good? I've never seen this brand before, so I was like, this is great.
Oh, that's not
love it. I'm usually not the biggest fan of vanilla scents either. Like vanilla is like kind of an scent for me a lot of the time. I usually find it's a little bit not my monkey, you know what I mean? But it smells really good. I really love it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the questions. I've just got the Twitter ones first.
Welcome back.
Dog hair in my mouth. Oh my god.
Oh, you know why you
I
have
wanted to give
dog hair in
everybody,
your
like, a
mouth?
minute.
I have something to say about that. Maybe you should quit opening your mouth and beckoning Puck to lick the inside of your mouth. That really did happen more than once. She's like, "Hey, come here, buddy." Lick the inside of her mouth, and we're like, "Ugh." And so of course people make jokes, and now Manya goes, "They made beepity jokes," and we're like, because she beckoned the dog to lick inside her mouth, in her mouth, not like a "oops, you kissed me," ooh, like a "hey, buddy," and so
can't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's not.
maybe that's why you have dog fur in your mouth. I'm just saying.
To get in.
I will say her hair is looking prettier there.
Yeah, I don't hate her hair. I like the little bit of rock star in there. Like he's got the half shaved head and then the long hair at the same time. I don't hate on it at all. Actually, I think she pulls it off pretty well. So
yeah, I agree.
Like truth be told.
So what I had said, all right, if y'all have any questions for me about my time in Kansas and court, leave them here. I'll do a stream this weekend to answer and pass on what information I can. So I figure it's best to start with the questions and we'll move on. So Honest Red has asked, can we have more
I don't think it's the wisest choice.
I can...
No, like I've always been told, like, if you have an ongoing case to just shut the up. Like...
Right. I mean, I'm happy as someone who, like, sure, talk about it. I want to hear about it. But if it's an open case, especially an open case about something ongoing, for things online, like YouTube, whatever the other social medias are, I don't know. Better play safe than sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, just maybe not. And then you definitely can't do anything wrong by not saying anything about it. But again, as a viewer, I'm glad. I want to hear about it. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm a nosy bitch, so I'll totally watch. But
Yeah,
like,
she's-
it doesn't
Right.
seem like it's the wisest move.
Yeah, she's
Correct.
feeding into our curiosity. If she wasn't a YouTuber, she probably wouldn't be doing this. You know, apart from maybe
True.
sharing with friends. But I'm glad she's sharing. But would I recommend to share? No. I imagine every lawyer out there will tell you, yeah, don't. But
Like if that were my case and she was a witness on my behalf, I would not be too happy about it. Not saying that that person is or is not. I'm just saying for
I
me
would not be
personally.
too keen on it either.
Right.
right, yeah,
But
yeah,
hey, talk away. I'll listen.
yep.
Especially if you're trying to cut off communication, and so like there could be an argument made by communication by proxy kind of thing. I don't know. It's
And then
kinda
also
Yeah.
it just causes a domino effect of streams afterwards. You have Aaron, now responding to her. You'll have Veda responding to whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
please
just
keep
constant
responding,
back.
Veda, you weirdo. It's such a dummy.
She really is. She really is.
I haven't really
honestly
watched.
feel like a lot of this is Veda's fault. Like a lot of it. Like she was the most aggressive out of the gate that could not let this person go, the plaintiff go. She was the first person that I noticed that was like making a Discord about the person, like not a Discord room, but a whole Discord about the person and saying if you'd like to join. It's like, what is up with you? Like, what happened to this potato woman that likes to wear tube tops? Like, why is she so aggressive?
I believe it's all Veda's fault, and they were all happy to just follow along. They know better, but well, you think they knew better, but there was plenty of red flags for them, and they chose to ignore them. So the hell with them, as far as I'm concerned.
The weird
I mean,
irony of
Aaron should have known
Cheshliar.
better.
What's that?
Aaron should have known better.
Oh yeah, she should have known better. The weird irony of Cheshire speaking on behalf of against what's been happening and stuff like that, as if she wasn't part of a previous generation doing the same dang thing for the same wizard, that
Very
lives in
true.
a closet. Like same thing. Like
You can
and
say
so
Walmart Gandalf. It's okay.
Walmart
I allow it. I
the
allow it.
Lobster King, the philosophy hobo. Yeah.
I feel like philosophy and him shouldn't be in the same sentence because I don't feel like it's he's cosplaying as someone who understands philosophy.
Have you
Is
even
that what
read
you mean?
Draper?
Have I what? I'm sorry.
Have you even read Draper?
Listen, I'm not
That's one of the
cosplaying
things
as
he yells at
someone who
people.
understands philosophy. I'm saying he is.
Angry Road says, "Did you see Steve got swatted video?" I did see this alleged video on Cheshire's channel, and I have to say I may have giggled. Like that is not a swatting. They're like, keep it down, guys.
It was so weird too, because what kind of SWAT team knocks on the door and just asks, "Is everything okay here?" And then they're like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, they don't. They're like, "Y'all okay in there?" He's like, "Nobody's here." All right.
Yeah. And they're like, "Can we come in?" And he's like, "No." Okay, bye.
Bye, y'all.
We can call him the swatted one.
The swatted one. The swatted one. Ugh.
I can probably make
They're still on about that, actually. They still are claiming like, oh, people like swatted us, and I'm like, I think a neighbor complained about y'all. That's what I think. I think there's a neighbor that might not like you, because I don't know. I have this feeling that they're obnoxious.
Apparently this has been going on for a while. This isn't the first time, and it has nothing to do with YouTube stuff.
Oh, well, he needed it for his drama to be a victim. He's a victim. Haven't you read his blog?
Uh-huh. No.
Oh my god, I forgot about his blog. That's so funny.
One second, I have to yell at my dog.
Are we sure, like, that even police really showed up at his door, or was it just someone?
No, I believe it was law enforcement. Yeah. Yeah, it was
And
from the
they
video. Yeah.
asked for permission to come in, and he said no. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fishy.
But it
Yeah, that's
was
not
law
a swatting.
enforcement.
That is a wellness check or something like that, or noise complaint. I think actually when Cheshire looked it up, it was a noise complaint.
Oh, yeah, that's not the same
Yeah.
at
Which is
all,
what he's being telling
even
you.
remotely.
I mean, everybody has seen that video, including his supporters. So, I mean, after telling them for a couple of months that he was swatted, once they saw that video, did any of them pipe up and say, hang on a second? If he's lying about that, what else is he lying about?
No, as usual, per usual, they toe the line. It's just that he doesn't have as good of a PR person. So Cheshire had some, I don't want to say charisma, but some thirsty men circling around her, and she'd show her feet. So they were like, yeah, baby. And so like she had a lot of pull with those guys, I think more so than I think Steve estimated. But he doesn't have anybody with that pull. EKC doesn't have that same pull as him. EKC has some influence to a smaller audience, but
no, she doesn't. Have you looked at her? Have you watched her chat? They swap recipes. Half of them aren't even listening.
They swap recipes.
No,
They're
I'm
just
serious.
bored.
No, I'm serious. I mean, how many tonight?
Are there any good ones?
How many nights can you go on talking about the same thing, the same grievances about Katie Joy?
I didn't
playing
know
the
she
same
was
videos.
still doing
Yeah,
that.
she's still doing that. And just the other day, I think it was yesterday,
Insane.
I saw on Twitter, or at least with this last week since she's been back, she's been going off on people that on Twitter, and she's going off about people are obsessed with her and people are obsessed with Steve, and the audacity of somebody who's still playing KJ videos from 2019 to say that about anybody else is just
It's embarrassing.
Wow. It's embarrassing.
She's like, I
Embarrassing.
ran out of
50-year-old
content.
woman.
So back to 2007. Literally, I remember watching one where she's went back to 2007. That's a long time ago. Like,
yeah, she went back to when KJ was part of a Facebook group or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's still playing those.
I think she used to do Facebook Lives or something like that.
She
I
did
don't
that
really
to
know her
Padme
videos.
Cat. So Padme Cat used to be in Steve's camp along with, I'm not whore shaming, but that's her name. Nikki, the formerly repressed whore. Okay, that's what her name was.
Oh my God.
She was on that Time of the Month show with Cheshire and Manya and stuff. And
That was a clever name, though, for a show.
yeah,
I'm sorry, with all chicks.
She was
It's very
seeing
clever.
Padme Cat or whatever. Anyway, there's this whole drama where Nikki brings up like, yo, you wanted me to deliver this bunch of money to this person I didn't know, and I refused. And then Steve goes, you don't care about suicidal people. What's wrong with you? And we're like watching it all unfold. And Padme's like, it's kind of weird that you're asking us to give a whole bunch of cash to a stranger. We don't want to do that. And
That's
Nikki's
right.
like, don't you pirate? And there's this whole drama. And he links this weird quote unquote threat / suicide. Like, well, now I did it. Now I'm canceled. Class, whoop. Note. And it's actually really awful. And it's terrible. And it's making all these threats. I hope this happens to your daughters. And I hope this, I mean, really horrendous. I'm like, if this guy, whoop, maybe the world will be a better place, because like, if he's going to do that to your daughters, like it's bad. But yeah, like, he got a no, I won't deliver money to your weirdo meth head friend. And he lost his mind. And that was one of the weirdest Twitter arguments we've seen of him. Like, bizarre, absolutely bizarre. They're all characters fads. When the plaintiff and KJ Well drives up, we'll be scratching even more for clicks. That's true. Mocking Media put out a video too. More beta videos. Beta is such an easy target, dude. Like I have to say, I enjoyed my ex-Dragoon friend, Burnt Toast, roasting Veda, just shredding Veda. Was hilarious. It was tasty.
I remember that.
Like you don't know who Burnt Toast is. She's like a honey badger. You shouldn't probably fight with her. Plus, she's got a big following. So That's funny. Honey Badger don't give a fuck. I mean, Cheshire was all up on her horse as if she wasn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is what's driving me wild. Is that she was the worst, in my opinion. Like, the worst. Probably, I don't know. I would say probably worse than EKC, honestly. Like, she was the worst. And she's still
I would
telling
say so
lies.
too, because yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I wasn't around. I wasn't around prior. Okay, so originally, before KJ got the initial RO and NDA on Steve, were Cheshire and Steve friendly, or did she come afterwards when he came back?
Cheshire came in about as NSS was falling apart. She was an NSS fan,
Right.
and she fancied herself an artist. And when they fell apart, she thought she could fill in the shoes of Kyle because she's just so charismatic and such a great artist and has such a great set of aesthetics. She can fill in those shoes. She did kind of a garbage job filling in those shoes. But boy, did she tell lies on his behalf and spin doctor for him. It was something fierce. It was pretty substantial.
Well, she's a lot younger than a lot of them, right?
Yeah, she's younger, but she was vicious. Like, I'm telling you, she's the one that told lies about Crafty Keela. When Crafty Keela came forward to say, to whistleblow about Ilya Moon lying about cancer, you know who came down hard on her with a hammer? Cheshire and Manya.
Why?
They want to silence her. Here's your mom's house. Oh, look at that. Oh, you once did this for a living? Let me show this as well. Oh, and all of a sudden these pictures were showing up everywhere and stuff of her. And then they're like, it's not doxing because technically it was public, you know. And it's like they were just nasty to Crafty Keela.
I hate that argument.
So Crafty Keela just took off. And then Nate the lawyer picked it up and was like, let's talk to Ilya Moon. And Ilya Moon caved and confessed that she was lying about cancer. And that the whole GoFundMe was an attempt to get sympathy and money from people. And it was shilled by Red's Rhetoric. It was shilled by Steve. It was shilled by Cheshire. And they came down on Ilya like a hammer. Not Ilya, but anybody that spoke against Ilya. So anybody that said, look, this doesn't seem right, they're like, you can't talk about that with cancer. And it was just shut down immediately. And it turns out, one of the people that I'm going to talk very, very lightly about it. One of the people that was close to Ilya did confide recently to me that he thinks that she derived some of her storytelling about her illness from his own experience dealing it with a loved one. And that's horrendous. That's a big betrayal. So Ilya was pretty nasty. And they all circled the wagons for her, something fierce.
But once they found out that she was lying, did they not apologize? I mean, it seems
not
like
really.
their
Are
anger
you kidding
was
me?
misdirected.
Definitely not Cheshire. Yeah.
I would be angry with my friend, or I guess they were friends, for putting me in a position to having to lie about cancer, even though they weren't aware of it. Why are they angry with the people that are saying, okay, no, this is not true, and then to find out
I
it's not
remember
true.
Red Rhetoric being something like, I'm never going to apologize for trying to support somebody. If the person's a scammer, it's on them. And it's like, yeah, but anytime someone brought it up, you came down on them like a hammer. So it is on you, buddy. So
I feel like with a lot of those people, it's in order to say, I'm sorry, apologize about something like that, they'd have to admit fault. And I don't think they're going to admit fault. I don't even think it's they're not capable of it. They just will not.
That's when life becomes very, very long and hard, when you can't admit
sorry,
fault
I'm sorry.
and you can't apologize.
Well, I got a list
In my
of
opinion.
things that Cheshire needs to apologize for. One is the things that she said about Nate the lawyer, the things that she said about Dragnet, the things she said about me. There's a long list of
Fiona.
things. The way she treated Bill Ludlow right before he died and how she never apologized for that. Like there's a whole laundry list of things for Cheshire to apologize with. She hasn't once said anything. And so when people say, there's somebody I know that said, Cheshire is trying to make things right by standing up for the plaintiff. And I said, I don't believe that. I think she just wants to, I think Cheshire is so petty. She just wants to hurt the lobster back. That's all it is. She was just waiting for a chance to hurt him, and she sees it as an opportunity. I don't think it is all for any virtuous reason.
But hurt him back for
not
what?
do it.
For her stupidity? I'm sorry, Chesh. I don't know Chesh, or I don't really have anything to like. I've never had any personal experiences with her. I know plenty of people have, and I didn't like what I was seeing. But get back to him for what? For her stupidity? Like she was happy to do all this PR work for Steve, happy to come at people for Steve. And then when he ended up screwing her, and it was like, how dare you? Well, what did you think was going to happen? Right. Look who you're dealing with.
Shadow Tier too.
Goes...
He's a person, or she's a person. Shadow Tier is a person that's been hurt by Red's rhetoric as well. Steve called me a criminal over the GoFundMe, and I got some phone calls at work at the time too. This isn't about me though. That's true. I remember you going through that. Red's rhetoric tried to levy his channel against you, and I remember that. And they accused Shadow Tier as a fraud when Shadow Tier was actually having a legit GoFundMe. And I remember that. And so it's the weird irony of it all, right? Like that they show things like the Ilya Moon or the Sean. So Ilya Moon, Sean, and the other one is suing KJP. And you know who shielded that, right? Who shielded the KJP one recently?
What, like Steve?
EKC.
For the GoFundMe?
EKC.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha.
You know what? I've always thought the beauty of being human is that we have the ability to apologize, and then we also have the ability to accept that apology. Mm-hmm. So I just don't understand why you can't just get on your channel or wherever and say, you know what, I got it wrong and I'm sorry. Like,
I don't think they care about that. I just truly don't. I think it's a whole slew of people just trying to have gotcha moments and also to win.
I think that Cheshire owes the person she accused of essaying for a layered argument to defend Steve for platforming a convicted rapist. I think Cheshire should probably apologize to that person, and she's yet to do it. And when they have been challenged to apologize, they say, well, you weren't accused of beepality. And I was like, the only reason why you were accused of beepality wasn't very serious. We all made fun of you and said you're going to get a parasite because you beckoned your dog to lick in the inside of your mouth, Cheshire. That's disgusting. I love dogs.
But I think she's intelligent enough to know the difference between joking and not. That
therefore she just
goes back to she just doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, Manya's a liar. Manya's a big fat liar. So is Cheshire. And so, like, when we get information from Cheshire and Manya, I just assume that half of it's not true, like just off because of knowing their track record. And when we get information from EKC, I assume half of it's untrue based on our track record. So, where's the truth, right? What is truth, as Pilot says? I don't know. Some people just use a water pick. Like for their teeth? Oh, then the dog. That's disgusting.
Oh.
Ew.
Is that Ronnie?
He's just checking for cavities way back in her mouth. That's all.
I haven't seen Ronnie for so long. I miss Ronnie.
I'll give Manya a shout out. Manya once decided to challenge us quote unquote trolls. And she jumped in Savage Minnow's Discord to argue with the quote unquote trolls. And every time she made a good point, which was not a good point, by the way, spoiler alert, she would write cheers, like, and goodbye. And then she'd come back And then she'd be like, cheers, goodbye. And so every time we would respond, whether it was sock account or me, we'd be like, cheers, goodbye. Like, but at least she wasn't a coward. And that's kind of, I don't want to say appreciate EKC, but I think I'm intoxicated, by the way. I don't want to say appreciate. I don't want to say I appreciate EKC, but I will say that EKC doesn't run from the conflict. She'll actually kind of embrace it a little bit, where
but
Cheshliar has built a wall.
Are you sure?
Yeah, but she should really learn to run from some arguments, because the arguments that she brings forward are just ridiculous. She should really learn how to pick her battles.
It's so dumb, right?
It's embarrassing. Half of it, it's so embarrassing.
But she thinks she's brilliant and mind blowing. I really wish I was a fly in the wall in the courtroom, because I bet when she tried to cross examine Chess, she thought she was brilliant. Like,
can you imagine the awkward silence of everyone else in the courtroom when those events happen, and the judge just staring and like,
what?
Okay, so anything else? Any other? Okay, and just like squeaking of a chair, and that's it. And
I mean, I watched a clip from, I think it's the 90-day community, where the judge had to talk about, and you were sent a dildo or dick glitter bomb. And
that's what I'm saying.
Actually had to talk about a dick glitter bomb. I'm like, oh my god.
They probably had to just go and have a drink. And I went through how many years of law school for what? To have to listen to online, I don't even want to say drama, because some of this is not drama, it's serious, but you know what I mean? Like
and can you imagine being like the attorney, well, the one attorney in this situation? Can we just talk about, I've said this before, never, ever, ever walk into a court of law unless you're fighting something like a traffic ticket. Don't ever walk into a courtroom without proper representation. And you can't come afterwards and say, well, I can't afford it. Well, then don't do dumb shit on the internet.
And I heard Tube Top Tammy came up like with flip-flops and stuff like that. There's no excuse for this. You can go to the thrift store. You just have to know what neighborhood to go into. Like, there's some more wealthy neighborhoods where they actually donate good shit. You can go to a thrift store, spend $20, get yourself a whole outfit that's respectable and business attire. Yeah. And actually look civilized. Like, there's no excuse for this, Tube Top Tammy. Not at all.
Absolutely nothing. I've had people tell me, always, you only get one chance to give a good impression, your first good impression. You do not walk into a courtroom looking like you're going to Dunkin' Donuts. Like
Dunkin' Donuts.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But whatever.
Classy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I mean, this is the woman that shits on graves. Like, do we really expect anything else, though?
I'm
really,
sorry,
truly?
What?
Wait, Jason doesn't know about that? Tell her.
Here's the clip.
The only thing I've ever gotten in trouble was for indecent exposure when I went into the chicken house naked.
Were you taking a shit on someone's grave? I mean, I have to know that much.
So I'm out in the middle of nowhere,
no
okay?
sound.
And there's two gas stations in this whole place.
That's me copying.
So you weren't trying to be spiteful and just actually shit on someone's grave.
No, there was just nowhere to go to the bathroom, and all I had was Burger King napkins. So I said, I don't want to pull into this person's yard. So I finally pulled into the grave.
I pull into this person's grave.
There's a cop on the hill watching me take it down.
I can see Veda with with her location on and grave finder. There's like grave find a grave.
Well, that is what I would want on the internet forever about
and
me,
she's
for sure.
And how fitting, she's actually streaming from the bathroom. How
on the bathroom, on the toilet, on the royal throne,
while sitting on the toilet. Yeah.
She's classy as fuck. It's great.
Yeah, right.
Oh, please keep streaming. Don't cancel her. Please don't cancel her. She's a joy.
Jeez. Imagine, and this is who Aaron wants to walk into a courtroom with. God.
That's the thing. I keep thinking, Aaron, you're not this dumb, right? You're not this dumb. Oh, you are this dumb. You're not this dumb, right?
Timu Aaron Brockovich. I mean, you've got to be. You have now got to be. Any credibility that you had is gone.
Did they have any left?
In my opinion. No, you know what? Listen, I don't like a lot of things that EKC has said, but I have always said, if she could just get out of this, get away from Steve, get off of the KJ's crap, I think she has potential to have a decent channel.
Well, I mean, again, that's why a lot of us were drawn to her at first. Not everybody. I understand there's some who are smarter than me, okay, and saw it for what it was. I didn't, and I was also not online all the time and didn't know all the goings on. But yeah, I don't. After a while, you start to think perhaps you're not smart enough. And hey, I'm not a very intelligent person. But
I think you are.
Lord,
actually,
I can't. Thank you guys. I'll pay you later. But I keep being so dumbfounded by how much I don't feel like Aaron is taking this seriously. This is real life. This isn't YouTube. What are you doing?
It's like she didn't expect that it actually would have evidence. And then when it was presented with evidence, when they had like evidence, she's like, oh, well, hell. Like, oh, well, I guess I have to actually work for this.
When she streamed that night from her, I guess while she was still in Kansas.
Yes.
You can hear how worried she was in her voice. I don't care. Nobody's going to tell me differently. Nobody is going to tell me different. And everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
So many people in her comments and otherwise were like, maybe you should pause, maybe like record yourself, vent, don't put it up anywhere, take a moment. Like no one's faulting you for being emotional about this or having feelings or thoughts, but is this the wisest choice of putting this on here? And like in the comments, she's going after people just like, I think I know what I'm doing. I didn't say anything I shouldn't have, blah, 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 blah. It's just, I am never at a loss for times that I am shocked by her balls and just, I would be so afraid, kind of
Her
just like Chesh.
clacking.
It's, you know, I don't have any minor innies. I'm too afraid for that.
Yeah, I asked her why she thought like the signing the tits, you know, I'll sign EKC's tits. Why she thought that would be good to say on the cross examination?
Because it had no relevance. It had no relevance to anything. It wasn't proving anything. It wasn't helpful. It wasn't beneficial.
She still thinks it proves something. It proved that there's some sort of back and forth between them, like a rivalry that's like either friendly or something.
And what does that have to do with what they did to the plaintiff?
Right. Nothing.
That
just shows between you and Cheshliar. That's all.
And it was just, she just thought that she was going to walk in there and just be a smart ass and talk about tits unnecessarily in a court of law.
Right.
You just look stupid. You look foolish.
Embarrassing.
And it is embarrassing with your sidekick wearing flip flops. It's this and matching hair. Like, come on.
So Shadow Tier brings up Aaron is like G-Man level dumb, it seems. Every time you think it can't get more dumb, it does. It does get dumber really quickly, and it gets twisted really fast. Like, she'll try to turn it around on you and be like, well, why are you interested in CP? When you're like, dude, like you should quit downplaying CP. Well, why are you interested in it? Like, she'll try to play that trick all the time, and it's nasty. I call it the lazy Susan, and don't let her do it. Don't let her do it.
That's all she does is try to spin.
And they're not very good either.
Answer. She doesn't have a decent argument. So what she does is she spins it, which and thinking that nobody realizes what she's doing. We know exactly what you're doing. You didn't answer anybody's question.
I came from the
Who
great
locked a
debate.
child
I'm
in a
used to like
store?
the worst. So Shadow Tears comparing Aaron to the stupidity of G-Man, and G-Man would make really, really dumb arguments. Sometimes he'd even hold like a children's like science book and explain that humans didn't come from monkeys, and so we would be arguing with an idiot pretty much. But
Oh, okay.
one time when G-Man was live streaming, he was live streaming from a store, and he locked a child on his live stream in the store, and the kid's like, I can't get out. And we're like, oh my gosh, you idiot. So Shadow Tears saying that at least Aaron probably wouldn't lock a child in the store. Well, she works in a bar, so hopefully there's not a child in the bar. So
You never know with some people.
Mocking Meteor says fake air, fake makeup, fake personalities, real lawyers. Well, the only one that has a real lawyer is the plaintiff. The other two potatoes do not have a plaintiff. Do not have a lawyer. So
Mashed and tater tot.
now I remember hearing EKC something on their live. She said that she was going to get a lawyer. Did you guys hear that?
Yep. She said that
Somebody she said.
somebody in her chat asked her if she had gotten a chance to look into legal aid in Kansas, and she said that she had reached out to, I don't know, I guess to a couple of people, and that's something that she'll be working on that week. Now, if only she had thought of that prior. I just think that they weren't taking it seriously. I think they thought. I remember hearing rumblings. Like I remember on Twitter, some people were saying she's not even going to show, meaning the plaintiff. She's just doing this. This is just a scare tactic. She probably won't even show up. You know, stuff like that. They're
trying to call her bluff, and she wasn't bluffing.
They underestimated her.
Right.
Yeah. I heard she spent quite a sum, so I have a feeling she'll be trying to collect that later. So it'll be a two-parter.
I don't think after May, if May is the last day. Well, I know that they're going back in May, and I think Erin herself said that it might be a third day. Once this is over, I don't think it's over, in my opinion.
Man,
that's just my opinion. This is just
to establish. Worth it, Aaron? Is Steve worth it? Really? Is Veda worth it, Aaron? There's something that's frustrating with Aaron. I think Aaron could do better. I really do.
Yes.
And she doesn't.
Yes. I think she's witty. I think I mean, she can have decent conversations with, on her like on her YouTube and with people in chat. I just don't understand why this is the hill that she wants to die on. Like, I just don't get it for these people. I've always said, if people like Steve walked into her bar, I just always thought, like, once he walked out, she'd be like, oh, thank God that loser left. Like, I just don't see the appeal.
Yeah, but she would take him for all his tips. Like, oh, wait, he can't tip. Never mind, just kidding. He's too broke.
Like, I just don't see the appeal there. There's so many people. Like, I just don't see Steve on her level. I'm not sure what level that is, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah. And you know what? The amazing thing is that just 2 years ago, everybody liked Erin. Everybody thought her translator videos were funny. People, she had tons of people in her chat. Everybody was engaged with what she was talking about. And then it's just become, fast forward, 3 years later, and she's still talking about the same shit. She barely, her channel is pretty stagnant. She'll gain 100 subs, but then it'll be 6 months before she gets another 50. And it's like, for what? What's your end game here, Aaron? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Right. I'm kind of like that too, but maybe I just assume she's smarter than what she is. It could be that.
I think I did. And I don't even mean, smarter. It's not that I think she's dumb. I'm dumbfounded because, just saying, I don't get it. I don't get the point. I don't understand what she's going after, what she thinks she's going after. Whatever it is, it's not happening, unless being in court is the goal, then I guess it is. But yeah, I don't get it at all.
Oh well.
I don't
Anyways,
know. She thinks she's winning. I'm going to play some more of this
yeah, I
video
was gonna
and
say
see if
let's
there's
skip that.
anything interesting.
Doing that maybe as like a PowerPoint or something. I'm not sure how they're planning on approaching that scenario or situation. But there's some stuff in there that was presented during Charla's testimony and during the testimony of like the expert witness and like I guess all of her witnesses, excluding myself because I couldn't watch myself. I'm not sure if I was as effective. I felt like I did well, but I don't. There are some things in there that I don't see how you would argue, disprove, or go against without trying to make the claim that this evidence or this thing that has been presented to the court is fabricated. And there didn't seem to be anything that was presented that I saw that was fabricated. So I don't know. I
think there's enough evidence to show that there was a bullying campaign. I really truly believe that she's going to have that evidence.
I'm still confused. I'm not even being sarcastic about why Cheshliar was there. Was she like a YouTube expert or?
Right? I don't know.
Fully get it.
I don't
I
quite
always
get
thought
it
maybe
either.
it was to establish what people will do on behalf of Steve.
Well, she did a lot on
did
behalf
she give
of
her
Well,
testimony
yeah,
of what she did?
And maybe it's possible. Maybe I mean, I have no idea, but it's possible. Part of her testimony was, "I know how this man is wired. I know how he gets people to do stuff for him, and then this way he can feign innocent and say his hands are clean afterwards. They never are."
Yeah, I want to know if Steve drove you to saying that Nate isn't a lawyer. He's not. He's a dirty cop, which you reiterated again. I want to know what drove you to abandon Sweet Heathen. I want to know what drove you to say I'm part of the dark web and I want people to kill themselves. I want to know what drove you, Cheshliar, to saying that my friend committed essay against Red Rhetoric in an airport. I want to know.
Jesus.
Is it you? Because I think it's you. Or is it Steve? I think it's all her. I think she's as messed up as Steve is.
When I earlier when I brought up, isn't she much younger? I remember seeing videos.
Yeah, she's younger, but it doesn't mean that she's not demented.
No, I understand that. But what I meant was that I remember watching older videos throughout the last couple of years. I remember somebody sending me a whole a playlist of because I was trying to understand who's this Reds dude that people are talking about on Twitter. This was a couple of years ago, and they sent me a playlist that had a whole bunch of videos that would explain kind of what happened from Kyle days to present day at the time. And there were some videos in there when Cheshliar, she just looked like she was just a very young girl trying to please the men on the panel. So she was just willing older men on the panel for whatever reason. She just it's like she wanted to just be accepted as part of them. And she kind of, I'm not saying that she's not the catalyst behind a lot of things, but it seemed a lot of times that she was just go along in order to get along. It's almost like a pick-me girl. I want them to like me, so I'm going to agree with everything that they're saying. Now, whether she did agree with it or not, I don't know, but that's what it came off at from the older videos that I saw. I could be wrong.
I also don't think she's as young as she appears, or as innocent as she appears.
She looked really young in those videos, and she just might just look very young for her age.
Yeah,
In
I
videos,
believe she
young.
is.
I mean, out of the bunch, right? We're most
Sure,
of us are
she's
Gen
younger
X.
than.
She's definitely a solid millennial. Definitely.
right? She just looked really young. Like to me, she looked
Julie's
like
younger than her though. She's in her
Yeah.
30s. Yeah.
she's in her Cheshire's in her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't know. When those videos I saw,
Cheshire
she looked
doesn't
like
know this, but she ran over to somebody I know on her job and met that person by accident. And it so happens that it was somebody that was in my Discord. And I think it's really hilarious because they work a very similar job. Yeah.
oh,
She's in her 30s. She's just really
Oh.
little.
okay. Maybe she looks a lot younger. But I mean, when I was watching those videos, she looked like she was 20, 21 to me. And I'm like,
No, I think she
I don't
was
know.
older than that.
He
Yeah.
had to say that she seemed exactly like she is online. She's really eager and receptive to men and will run up and hug you and want attention and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily flirting, but it's wanting attention from men. She really likes attention. So
Does
she
somebody
is
want to
really
answer
a pick-me girl.
Sorry,
Yeah.
does someone want to answer TT's question? Because
So did the plaintiff put an RO on Steve? Why didn't he have to go to Kansas?
Gross, TT.
in a
It's
tube top and flip.
No one
So
wants
it's
that
my
visual.
understanding that for some reason he got an RO separate than those other two. I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure out why they came together, because if I was to face the plaintiff, I would not want to face them with an idiot like Veda who would hurt my case. So I'm not quite sure why they came together, because I think that would be harmful. But it sounds like Steve may have, sources say, I don't know, rumors say that Steve may have made a deal and not told his friends.
I thought that was public knowledge.
I don't know.
That
I don't know.
would be kind of hilarious.
It is hilarious. It is for sure.
Because
Spackle has her
then-
spies fact. Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Okay, let's listen to more Chesh.
Yeah.
You keep when you're walking and talking in your sleep. But
I love Holly.
CT says, I would not want to be seen in public with Veda under any scenario. Can you imagine? Like, I'm trying to put my case forward and here's Veda rolling in. She's like, I don't give a fuck. Oh my gosh.
Did she bring her own toilet with her?
Definitely one-sided. But again, I didn't get to see Aaron or Veda present their side, so who's to say, really? I'm not a professional. What do I know? Did I see any black dogs named Toto in Kansas? No, but I saw the most adorable little, like, wiener dog dashed hound named Scooby, who is very, very cute. Did I have any what the fuck America moments? So like things that were just America, like why is America like this? So one thing that I was like, why are we like this? And I don't think it was just like exclusively an American thing. It was a airplane thing. I do not understand why airport tickets and the times of flights are not across the board in universal time. They should just be in universal time. Yeah, like I was on my way back and I'm coming from Denver to Toronto, right? And I'm leaving Denver at 11 and arriving in Toronto at 4, and my ticket says my flight is 3 hours. And I'm like, that math doesn't check.
What are you talking? This is
hold
why
on
you
a
have
minute.
to
And
leave
it's
your...
because there's time.
I have a question.
my
What is
God.
universal time?
Like she's like, what?
I would
What
call
is
that
universal
military
time?
time, but
don't. Well,
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
I mean,
think
are we
that's what
talking
she
about
meant.
Scotland? Is that what we're talking about?
There's no such thing as universal time because you're entering. You might be flying out of one time zone and flying into another. So they're telling you what time. Like, okay, she's flying out of Ontario. Listen, my understanding, she lives in Ontario. She's made that public knowledge. Everybody knows I live in Ontario as well. So let's just say I was flying. Okay, so I'm flying on Saturday morning. I will be flying out of Toronto, and I will be flying into another. I don't think it's. Oh, I think it might be just an hour difference. I have to double check. So I need to know what time I'm arriving in the country that I'm arriving in. So I don't understand.
Makes sense. Time zones and whatnot.
Right. So if I'm leaving here, if I'm coming to California, if I'm coming to visit Spackle, you know, and I'm arriving at 6 o'clock my time, then I know it'll be
Pacific Standard Time, guys. Pacific Standard Time. California,
I
baby.
know it'll. But I know it'll be 3 p.m. in California, and it will show that on the ticket. This is what happens when people don't leave their house enough.
It's not that hard to figure out, like, if something's 2 hours off of the time zone you're in and the flight only says 15 minutes long, that it's not really a 15-minute flight. It's you've lost or gained time, you know? Is that what she's referring to?
No. And so what happens is, okay, so if I'm going to California and they're 3 hours behind, I'm at Eastern Standard Time. California is Pacific Standard Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could leave. It's what, a 4.5 hour flight, I believe, to California, from what I remember. It's 4.5 hours. Yeah. Let's just call it 5 hours. My plane takes off at 9 a.m. It's a 5 hour flight. If I look at my watch, it is 2 o'clock when I arrive in California, but it's actually 11 o'clock. So they're telling you what time you're arriving in California time.
Right.
And you have to, because otherwise you're going to be going through your entire trip looking at your watch and not realizing that you're 3 hours behind. You have to realize that you're functioning now on a 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
So the ticket will say you're leaving at 9 a.m. It'll say it's a 5 hour flight arriving in California at
correct. So it's
11
different
a.m.
time zones. What doesn't she understand?
So I don't understand what, yeah. But she says it should say 9 to 12. But it's not, or 9
I
to
can
2.
only
Sorry,
assume what another viewer said, which is universal time. Maybe she means GMT.
What is GMT?
It's Scotland time, basically.
What? Scotland time is 5-6 hours ahead.
I know,
Scotland,
but
Florida,
that's
where Julie lives.
Time. Scotland, Florida.
Scotland, Florida, where Julie lives.
No, that's
where Julie lives.
Florida. That's Glasgow, Florida. Yeah.
Same
Greenwich
difference.
time, which is in Scotland, I believe.
Are we being serious here?
No, I'm really serious.
But what?
That's universal time.
What?
GMT. Well, I like to call it Julie Virgo time.
It still doesn't make any sense. Universal for who, though? Only part of the world. It still doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of how we decide time, right? We pick the place, and all the time zones are off of that place. So the place is, I believe, Greenwich.
So like a central place they've chosen?
Yeah. And it's Scotland, basically.
Okay.
But then that wouldn't just be an American thing, correct? I mean, I've flown internationally a couple of times, and it's never just based off of one place, and we go by that
it's
time.
Confusing because there's sometimes
life's confusing.
Time. How long is the flight versus when do you arrive? And sometimes that varies.
So she has trouble with math. It's okay.
Right.
She can just say that.
I'm just calculate. I can understand. I get it. Julie Virgo says, I might sue Cheshire for emotional distress due to the haircut.
So does Chesh think that if she flew out at 9 a.m., got there 2 p.m. her time, but because because the ticket said it was 5 hours, but really it was 11 a.m. there, she thought her flight was only 2 hours now?
This is starting to sound like a math problem from 5th grade about like if the train leaves at this time.
Did she believe that her flight was not actually 5 hours? Like what?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was first saying.
This
Like,
is why
does she
Dragnet
really not
called her
get?
62 IQ, and forever she was 62 IQ.
Just player. I can't figure. I can't.
Mrs. is like, is that holy spackle? What's she talking about? I don't know. I'm drunk. We're talking about Cheshire.
We know that Glasgow is in Florida, and that's all we're very sure of. Just ask Julie.
UTC is synchronized internationally. For example, internet servers, air control, spanning multiple time zones, astro navigation, etc. Do they use GMT time? Is UTC different than GMT? I don't know. I guess a simple Google search would explain. Holly Sparkle. I have a channel called Holly Spatula. I can't talk because I didn't get a link. No one likes me. Do you
That's
want a
because you're in
link?
the wrong time zone, Pickle. You have to ask Chesh what time
tell
it is,
people to come
and
up.
that
Also, sorry,
it's
go
like
ahead.
you get a little code thing. You have to answer it correctly, and then you get a link.
Also, does she not realize that as soon as she gets off the plane and turns her cell phone on, it'll automatically go to whatever the time is in the city you're in?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of handy.
But anyways, it doesn't. Regardless, let's get back to Chesh. But Chesh, it doesn't change how long the duration of your flight. If your ticket says it was 5 hours, you were on the plane for 5 hours. I assure you.
Maybe she thinks she
Chesh.
entered the Twilight Zone and she went to another dimension.
She's like, where am I?
Time zone jump, right? So they
Time zone jump.
And I'm like, why is this not all just in universal
It's
time? I do
basically
not
a
understand why we do this.
TARDIS.
This is absolutely
You walked
insane. I don't know
into a
why we would do
TARDIS.
anything except doing things in universal time. So they wasted all that time and got nothing. I mean, they were both able to take. So when you go to court, usually both sides will present the other one with their evidence ahead of time. But as we saw in, like, for example, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, they had binders, and both sides had a copy of each other's binders. And so Aaron and Veda both got a binder.
Is she
I'm
a
triggered
legal
by the
expert
word
now?
binder because that reminds me of Tina, I Cut You.
Shoe boxes. It's shoe
Binders
boxes.
reminds me, isn't that Tina, I Cut You? Or is that Aaron that has the binders?
All I ever heard
KJP?
was
Tina.
Tina had shoe boxes in her closet on KJ.
I heard binders too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Maybe the binders were in
I
her
also
closet.
pictured Tina's. I also pictured like a room in Tina's home, like, do you know those like FBI?
She's got a shrine. She's got a shrine.
Yes, yes.
Strings attached to pictures.
Yes, exactly.
Is Chess going back to Kansas? I hope so. This is hilarious.
And then she also has like a Hannibal Lecter mannequin in the middle. A few, maybe, possibly. Oh my god.
I don't think you're the only one who thinks that.
Filled with what's being presented in their case. So there's some stuff in different spots in each of those binders because their cases are still individual cases, but they have those now, and I think that should.
There's binders, folks. There's binders. Hey, Wicca Pickle, welcome to the panel.
Hello.
I'm drunk.
Hey, Pickle.
As all hosts should be.
I just ate some new kimchi. It was burning.
You ate what?
Kimchi.
Oh, I've
It's
tried to like.
spicy.
I want to like kimchi, and I can't. I've tried to like
It's
it. but I
rotten
just
cabbage.
can't.
I like rotten cabbage apparently, but it was it's pickled, right? So like
Yeah.
I've tried some in the past. I'm never like a huge fan, and I felt really bad about that, owing to my pickle status and my heritage. But I got some new stuff, and it's kind of spicy. I'm like, ooh, it's really good. I was like, well, dang.
Who said
Spicy.
milk
That's
cartons
good.
full of binders? What does that mean? Hi, Pickle.
Hi. She means like those big law cartons.
Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking an actual like paper milk cart.
Milk
yeah.
crates. Like
Yeah,
remember
like
people used
milk
to put their
crates.
albums in them?
Yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense. Just kidding.
So Pickle, what do you have to offer this panel?
Some kimchi.
Some rotten cabbage.
That's what I'm good for.
You have anything
I have a
to
story
say?
about kimchi real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
I had a friend who's Korean. Her name was Leslie. Her mom couldn't say Leslie because she's Korean. She married a guy named Leslie, and she decided her firstborn should be called Leslie. So she named her daughter Leslie, but she couldn't say Leslie. And every time she said Leslie, especially when she was mad, she called her Resherie. 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 Are you sleeping with boys? So one time I put my Subway sandwich in their fridge and it came out tasting like kimchi, and that's the end of my story.
Oh, my mom. No, okay. Just before anybody jumps on my, sorry, my bottom. I am of Asian descent, so I can say things a certain way. But my mother. Now I was not raised with anyone who had an Asian accent or Asian speaking as their first language, to be clear. But my mother, man, the accents. We went to Canada one time. And we had to go to the bank so we could trade out money. And so my mom goes into the bank to, trade currency. And the teller was Korean. And we came back out and my mom was giggling. And we're like, what are you laughing about? Stitching with the sisterlies. Speckle, are you drunk? Pickle, are you hot? When am I not? Let's just be real.
I'm definitely drunk, but I planned on getting drunk because I was watching Cheshliar.
Yeah. But mom comes out of the bank. She's giggling. We're like, what are you laughing about, mom? And I will not do this justice. And she said, oh, the teller was so nice. She said, oh, usually there is a fee for this, but no, I won't charge you. And we laughed. My mom still will randomly say it to us, and we'll just snargle because it's hilarious.
You'll snargle? Is that what you said?
Snargle is.
I know. What's a snargle?
A snargle's like that ugly, like, have no self-control, you can't politely giggle where you're like, like Chris Farley snargles. Yeah.
I've never heard it. I
might have made it up, but it works.
Are snargles better than witches' cackles?
Oh, I like both. I do both. My husband will tell you it doesn't matter where I'm at, public, church, the store, at home. If something hits me the right way, I will cackle and snargle out loud with my whole chest. Sometimes I can't control myself and I can't stop. Sisterlies, that depends on how high I am.
Is it sisterlies or sister lies?
Sisterlies.
Sisterlies. Stitching with sisterlies.
I thought it was Sister Lies too.
Right?
Stitching has a great sense of aesthetics. There's amazing quilts. I mean, absolute artisan. She's really good.
It's beautiful stuff. Yeah.
She is very loyal. I was joking with Speck. Now, Stitching didn't know who I was, didn't really know me. And I was joking with Speckle on Twitter one day, and I was like, you want to fight, Luca? And Sisterly's come out of the woodwork for me. Like, she was coming for me because she saw me going after her Speckle. And I was like, Speckle had to call her off. Like, whoa. Friendly fire.
She's like, oh, no, you're not talking about Speckle.
Yeah. She's going to own me.
Like, oh, we're play fighting. It's okay.
Lee's. She said it's Sister Lee's. Little Sister Lee's.
No, Sister Lee's is really sweet. She's a really sweet lady, and she's very, very, very talented.
She really is.
I've been trying to drop hints for like a year that I would like a quilt, but I'm probably just going to have to say it straight up. I would like a quilt. I will be getting back pay soon. I will pay you for said quilt. Can it have pickles on it?
Pickle quilt.
Only if you snargle.
Oh, I'll snargle over it. Trust me. I'll be like,
Pickle, do you have anything to offer about what we've covered so far?
Do you have anything to offer before we throw you out of the airlock? I'm just kidding.
Do you have any secrets? I haven't actually been watching. I woke up, I took a shower, and then I started making dinner. So I have not been watching.
Well, we haven't watched much of Chesh, so maybe we should start.
Yeah, let's watch and commentate as we go.
All right.
I may have started drinking before the stream, and that got me in trouble. My bad.
It'd be
Who's
good for
surprised?
them. Like that gives them a lot to work with. So maybe since they have 2 months to work on it now, maybe they'll be able to come up with something. At least they have it, and it's organized in a way that should be comprehensible at the very least. What was the most 2 frustrating moments in the cross-examined by, like when they cross-examined me? That's a good question. I'll come back to that though. I'll come back to that. I just want to get through the.
I bet it's this. Are you gonna sign my tits?
Twitter question. So if I forget, ask me again.
I still can't believe
Sorry, Andrew
she
Roach, I see
said
your
that
question
in
as
a
well.
court
So
of law.
give me a second to get through the one set of questions, and then I'll move on to the next set.
Has she said anything about being recalled? Is
Did
she
you go
coming
on
back for the
stand?
second?
Yes. Did you win? Me
No, not yet.
She's probably getting there. Okay.
specifically, I feel like I was in a no lose scenario. No matter what happened in the scenario, as far as I was concerned, it was a win for me. How did people react?
see that.
To me in particular, people were a little flustered. The Charla's lawyer kind of, there were questions that I think that I was asked that she could have objected to, but she chose not to object to them because she liked the way I was answering the questions. That was my takeaway from it. Can we have those pics? Yeah, I'll get dressed up again, and once it's it's in the laundry right now. So once it's washed, okay, I'll see if I can get a couple pictures. From being with someone's family for 4 days, how did you interpret them as people? Did you meet grandchildren? Are all those shoes on the floor in your pic from a meet and greet, or were they all yours? Or were you
I
at
will
someone's home where
so pay
multiple
for
people
it.
live? All right, so one at a time. From being with someone's family with 4 days, how did you interpret them as people? So while I was there, I met Charla. I met Charla's husband. I met Charla's daughter-in-law, who was set to be a witness. Her daughter, who was also set to be a witness. I did meet her son and grandson. They came over one of the days to, I guess, support their mom the day before court, as a supportive, caring family would. I got there. They had. So, before I went, Charla was warning me that she's been so stressed out and her house is a mess. And so I was going there expecting maybe I'll help her clean something while I'm there or something like that. I don't know. But I showed up and it was nice. She's got a nice house. It's like the colors are nice. It's got some gorgeous, the way that it's laid out. I don't want to give too much of the floor plan away. It is very, very nice.
Floor plan?
Speaking with Charla, she's just a normal person.
Wait, pause it.
Albeit a stressed out person, but...
Pause. JC, did you just say floor plan?
I sure did. I still hear it in my head all these years later. Floor plans.
What did you say?
Floor plans. Floor plans.
Oh, floor plans like Dina.
Yeah, like Dina.
That one.
Yeah, jeez.
We got your floor plans.
All right, you guys can say what you want, but if we go into the zombie apocalypse, I might be making my way to Dina's house. I mean, at least just to steal her guns. I don't think anything.
Feel free. I think yeah. You go to Florida and try to steal someone's guns during the apocalypse.
I'm crazy.
You can make it out. Do it.
I'll be driving the van to pick everybody up. Spackle, you're last. I'm sorry. You're in California.
You have gun control, okay?
Go.
That seems fair to me. Nothing out of the ordinary. She didn't have any fits. She wasn't mad. She was very friendly. There wasn't anything weird going on. I noticed that because I kept an eye.
Says the sociopath. Allegedly, she said.
Well, no, but I do think Charlotte is a very as normal as she can be, having gone through what she did with her background.
Oh,
I agree.
I'm not bashing on Charla. I will say that Cheshliar did say live that she has sociopathic tendencies, and I feel like she's telling on herself. I feel like maybe that might be the case.
Wait, Chesh said that about herself?
Yeah, she said that once on the live.
Oh, wow. Okay.
While I was there, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, let's see. And her family were all very friendly. They seemed to all get along with each other really well. There wasn't any, like, you know how people sometimes will give like backhanded or underhanded comments about each other or like each other's houses when there's like a little bit of bad blood. Didn't get any of that. Charlotte was showing me around her house and she was pointing stuff out. And at one point I just put my head in my hands and I said, why is this house so adorable? Like, everything in this house has some kind of like sentimental value. Like there's a story behind everything. And she was like, no, there isn't. What are you talking about? It's just like a house. And I pointed to like the wall.
Charlotte might be very well charming. Like I'm very sympathetic to Charlotte in the sense that like I feel like she didn't invite this per se.
No,
I feel like they did attack her. You know.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, and I think many know, I took my time, as I always do, in forming a real opinion. I had concerns like everybody did at one point. I've talked to you guys, my closer crew, about it. I honestly, having really delved into and having a familiarity with IBLP and cults and stuff like that, I really think that she came out of the cult. She had a few years, you know, and then she saw this person talking about it. And she said, you know, she got gung ho, like, okay, I can help. I want to help. I've got experience. I know what this is like. And then she obviously had a bad experience with KJ. And so she saw this other group and she thought that group was like, I don't think it was as much about, in her mind, disliking KJ as much as it was about like telling the truth and supporting people. And I think she just got in over her head real fast and she was too trusting.
Yeah, I think that too. I think she was assuming the goodness of Megan and assuming the goodness of EKC, and that was unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Megan really loves bombing. She love bombs you. Something fierce. I mean, I remember being in EKC's chat and being love bombed by EK or Megan, and it's very noticeable. And I feel like if you're more accepting of that sort of thing, then you would be receptive of it. Yeah, for sure.
I think so. I think she found a place of support where she could, quote unquote, do some good. And for a lot of people who are coming out of traumatic situations, it's hard for them to stand up for themselves, but easier to stand up for others. And that sometimes makes a pathway to them eventually standing up for themselves as well. And I think that's what she was doing. I don't know. I've never talked to her. I don't know. But that's my assumption.
All in the dining room, which was like almost like a burgundy. And I was like, why is your dining room this color? And she goes, oh, so back.
Do you break it, Spaggle?
Do we want to talk about her house more, or do I want to fast forward this?
Play this point.
Fast forward.
That's a good point.
Oh,
What?
okay.
This point about the house color, play that because I think it's going to be a good point.
Okay.
Maybe to give some people more of an understanding of the background.
Meaning she's not completely unhinged. She actually has a normal life.
Yeah. But then pass after this, yeah.
I can see that. This might be a two-parter then, if that's the case. So.
Well, I don't have to play the whole thing. I'm saying JC's right. We can skip, but just this one, finish the sentence.
Okay.
Back in the day, it turns out that I'm really bad at picking wallpaper. And so she starts going on in this story about this ugly wallpaper that she picked out that she thought was going to look nice. And she got this whole story. At one point, I looked at her while her husband was standing there and I said, hey, what's the story about your toaster? And they said, what, the toaster? I said, yeah, what's going on with your toaster? And then Charlotte launches into the story about, oh, my husband got this toaster for me and this year with this thing, and then trailed off. And I'm just like, everything in this house has a thing. Everything has a thing. It was very cute. It's very cute. But yeah, I spent some time around them. They were nice people. They all seemed to get along well. Their family all seemed to care about each other.
I think that's a good thing to think about too, when it comes to people who have come out of these kind of situations. Like Cheshliar saying she can't understand basically Charlotte having emotional attachment in the story to all these things, but it shows that Charlotte is a very emotional person. And that she has attachments to things that she, you know, they signify something, they mean something. Her life is different. Yeah.
Maybe a happier time.
And that's
Right.
okay. Like I'm a supportive if that's how you're built. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can skip the rest of the house talk.
Kind of knew some of what was going on, but they didn't know everything that was going on because it looked like Charlotte was showing some of them.
All right, I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit.
Actually, that's part of it because it's telling them, it's explaining how it's not what people made it out to be.
Right.
People made it out to be like the plaintiff was estranged from all these family members, and that's not true at all. She has a very supportive family. They were all there.
Right.
So,
the way they
Right.
it was like all her family members think she's a burp burp burp, and she's a DSM qualified burp burp burp, and that they don't want anything to do with her, that she's some sort of threat, and it's really scary. And it turns out there's only one estranged family member, and the other ones were okay. And so that's interesting to know. It sounds like she has actually okay relationships with most of her family, which is great. I don't want to dig into her family because I think that's an overstep. I don't dig into EKC's family. I don't like her, but I don't dig into it. I don't dig into
nobody
Cheshire's
talks about her family.
She put her sister live, and people liked her sister more because she was hotter. And then her sister wasn't live after 2 streams because Cheshire's sister got a lot of attention. And so that was really funny to watch as well. But I don't mess with people's family because I feel like it's an overstep. I think it's really cruel. It's unusually cruel to do that. And I think it's outrageous that they contacted somebody in Charlotte's family. I think it's outrageous.
I thought the step, whoever, contacted them, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
No, they found her on Facebook, and then the information was
okay.
passed on to the person
Right.
who ended up contacting her.
Oh, okay.
Right.
From a post that was 150,000 years old. As if you never posted anything when you were in a fight with somebody. And even if it's like, I've done it, I haven't tagged someone, but if I'm in a fight with my sister, I might post on, Facebook, like, itches be itches. You know what I'm talking about.
Also, I think it's fair to say that this was not an immediate family member of Charlotte's. It was a step family member.
A step kid who
Not that doesn't mean that you can't be close to that person or you're not still
Well, and
family,
isn't the father of the step person also no longer married to Charlotte? I think I could be wrong.
That's my understanding.
I don't know the connection, but it's not one of, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's not one of her actual biological children.
Here's what I'm going to say, that I think that Steve and EKC and everybody else, Beta, whoever's involved, Megan, all these people that were involved, I think they gave no fucks about what they were digging into. And even if you take Charlotte out of her feelings out of the mix, and you look at this person who is estranged from her stepmother and is hurt, is LGBTQ, and the stepmother is ex-fundamentalist Christian, it's not it doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out that there's going to be hurt between them. If you have a fundamentalist Christian and an LGBTQ daughter or stepdaughter, there's going to be hurt and very complex issues between them. To use that and to try to use it as a way to attack her, and it is not helping that stepdaughter at all. In fact,
no, and it's also it's expected to, because of the situation, for them to be estranged. Also, it may not be because of Charlotte's beliefs. It may be the father of this child. It may be she may have had an issue with her dad's ideology.
Who knows what it's about? It doesn't necessarily matter. Not every time someone's estranged from someone, it means that an individual is crazy or unreliable,
or just one person is at fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. There's a huge overstep.
Yeah, that they're in the cult and they're in a high control environment where I'm sure being gay is wrong in the IBLT, for instance. I think that's where she was from. Like being in that position and then having an LGBTQ daughter, you're messing with things that are extremely dangerous, extremely harmful to both individuals. And I just think that Steve and EKC and whoever else was messing with this did not give a F about the two people involved. And it's one thing to not give an F about plaintiff, which is one thing. But the daughter, they did nothing to protect her identity. They did nothing to protect.
Correct.
They encouraged her to diagnose her own stepmother on live YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like they did nothing to help this person, and they did everything to harm this person. And that's what,
because they didn't have anything to gain in helping her. They wanted what they wanted. They got what they wanted, or so they thought. And then they're done.
And you also got to keep in mind, in a situation like that, you're only getting one side of a story.
Yeah, they don't really care about that either, because if it turns out the stepsister is crazy, then they're going to have something to talk about then. It's just
but other people that are listening or here, you also got to remember, you're only getting one side of the story as to why they're estranged.
Well, that's the most ethical way to do it, right? Since they tell their ethnicity. Oh my God, I've smoked too much.
I know what I know what they were trying to do, and they only wanted that one side. But to other people that were or at least following what's going on, they have to remember there's also another side to whatever happened.
There wasn't a lot of critical thought in this process. I'm not saying that everybody and anybody is innocent. I don't know. Nor do I frankly care. But I'm saying that if you're going to look at a situation and you're going to pass judgment so that you can speak on it publicly, you should at least, like you said, know both sides. And what you're pointing out is that nobody else had the critical thinking to do such a thing.
Yeah, nobody asked what, and maybe she wouldn't have shared, and because of everything that's going on. But I'm sure that Charla has her, version of whatever
Let's
went
just
down.
be careful about kind of speculating on things that I hear what you guys are saying, but I just want to be careful too.
No, we're no. I just no. I agree. I agree.
I feel like with Charla, I think they took advantage of somebody and they knew it. I don't think that they didn't know it. I think they knew it.
Right.
They've
done that with multiple people the past several years, whether it be just the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but it's become, to me, even more prevalent, and the people that they're going after are even more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there just does not seem to be a stopping point to which they will use someone, no matter what emotional or physical, financial, whatever state that they just very much are.
It's hard to know where their boundaries are. It really is.
I don't think they have any.
I think they've done this to plenty of people. The difference is that those people, when they realized what was going on, kept their mouth shut because they knew how they could be, or they went along because they had a common enemy. To them, that's KJ.
Yeah.
But I think with Charla, she was the first person that said, wait a minute, something's not right here. And she was very vocal about it.
Right.
Well, they've been able to tell people, because I think the deciding factor here was Charlotte wasn't in the community and she wasn't well known. Okay. So there are people who don't like me for whatever reason. They just don't. And that's okay. I'm not for everybody. Not everybody has good taste. It's cool. But if they decide to target me and they start saying all these terrible things about me, there are people who, without concern for, is this true? Is this not? Do I, whatever. They're just like, oh yeah, I believe that because she's a bad person. I've seen her be a bad person before. Every one of us has had somebody see us be a bad person because we're human. But Charlotte didn't have anyone to be like, no, that's not true. She didn't have anyone. Like, everybody just was like, oh, she must be terrible because we didn't know her. And so they were able to run with that and push that. And And the extra line of going beyond that, because Charlotte was like, whoa, no, hang on. This isn't true. And they got scared. I absolutely believe that they got scared because they couldn't control her like they thought they were going to be able to. That's my opinion.
Do you think they were scared, or do you think they were
Yes.
trying to scare her?
I mean, they were trying to scare her, but I think they were scared at some point of, oh boy.
And why they were scared? Because they've all accumulated. So many people have caught on to their game. So maybe if this happened 2-3 years ago, people would have said, no, Aaron would never do that. No. And they would have just simply dismissed anything that Charlotte or someone like her may have come along and said. But because so many people have caught on to what EKC and Steve are all about, there were a lot more people willing to listen to Charlotte and give credence to what she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other side of it is that people are scared themselves because they've seen what's been done to others. And when Charlotte was like, no, I'm going to stand up to this, more people felt emboldened to also be like, you know what? And I've seen it myself on Twitter. I've had in the last month, so many people on Twitter DM me and say like, I'm sorry for what's happened to you. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. I should have. I was scared, And I'm like, that's okay. You don't owe me anything. But I'm glad that is becoming more of a reality in the thought process now, because the next time that somebody is targeted, I really am excited to see people say, you know what? Nah, we're not going to tolerate this anymore.
And that's the thing. Like, I think we've seen people like Cheshliar be able to accuse people of sexual assault who are victims themselves and try to attach that to their name and besmirch their name on behalf of McRae. And to cause emotional harm, which was pretty tremendous. And I think that Charlotte is one of the first people to stand up and go like, no, I'm going to pursue this to the end. And that's very expensive. I mean, I have to give it to her. That takes a lot of perseverance, and it's costly. And I can imagine that she's probably going to need some sort of way to recoup those costs going forward. So I don't think this is going to be the end of this.
I agree. I don't think this is the end of it. If either one of them, Aaron or Veda, or maybe even Steve to some degree, although I'm not quite sure what ended up what's going on with them, between him and Charlotte right now as far as where their case stands or the TRO stands. But rest assured, this is not the end of it. I can't see that, like, once court is over in May, that's not going to be the end of it. I think there's a lot of emotional damages that need to, maybe not a lot, but I don't know, in my opinion. I think she should come after them civilly.
I agree.
Absolutely, 100%.
Caster, to answer your question, probably.
Sorry.
Let me look at my panel real quick. Yeah, all of us are some form of Christianity, but we're all human. And we understand, we have a sense of humor. And I think we understand that Jesus probably has a sense of humor since God is the creator of all things. So
God made me, so I know he has a sense of humor. But when I hear you say that, Speckle, it reminds me of that woman from, like, was it like Wife Swap or something? Because I'm a Christian. Like, can we put that as the new opener? Like,
sorry, going back to what we were saying before for a second, that's where they need to be really scared, because Charlotte, at least in comparison to them, can resource them out. Which is why I always find it really, really funny.
I don't think that's very hard with Wizard Boy.
Right. But I also find it very funny when you have people like Renelle and Down the Rabbit Hole saying, oh, we need money to fight KJ, because first it was all KJ's fault. It's like, you can't fight KJ. KJ makes 5 figures a month and not leaving her house. You guys don't have the resources to fight her.
Look, they had a GoFundMe and it went nowhere.
Yeah, it went absolutely nowhere. And yeah, I don't even, it's absolutely ridiculous. But you hear people, it's like, oh, you got to sue KJ and you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to go after her. No, she will just ride it out, and she'll just like you can't do it. She's a spinner. Who's a sinner? Oh, a sinner and a
Nope.
spinner.
A
Oh,
sinner
God.
and a
Oh.
spinner.
She talking about you.
She's talking about me.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, she is.
It's a talent. It's a talent to be a spinner. I'm gonna step away for a half second because I have to use the bathroom because I've been drinking too much. I'll be right back.
It's because my husband is really tall and I'm not. And that's all I'm gonna say about it.
I thought
Dear Lord.
Speckle was going to answer Caster's question about cup size. That's what I thought.
Read
she
it
was
again.
going
What
to.
is it? Thinking about her cups again. How big does one cup need to be? What? Oh. Caster, any size cup can be gluttony. It doesn't matter about the cup that is the last cup. It is the second to last cup that dictates what the last cup is, gluttony or not.
Everyone says more than just a handful, right?
My husband said, give me 5 handfuls, baby.
I know Caster is not talking about that kind of cup, but there you go. There's us Christians for you.
Right.
Holy thoughts, holy thoughts.
Speckle had to go to the bathroom because her cup runs over, okay?
Mm.
Oh my goodness. I can give Chesh actually a little more grace than other people, and I know that that's a
Who?
controversial. Chesh.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Oh wait, before I forget, did I imagine it or did Chesh make a GoFundMe for her to go to Kansas?
She
with
did. She did.
She did.
I believe she did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you can give Chesh more grace.
I do. I know that there's other issues. I don't know all her history. What I can say is that regardless of her motivation to go and help Charlotte, she did at least go and help Charlotte.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and I'm not here to dog on Chesh. I just know. I'm aware of things that I've heard, and I've also witnessed she's done that I did not think was okay. Like what she did, like what they did to Kay Baxter. I was in that chat. I didn't like what happened.
Yeah,
it was disgusting.
That was totally disgusting. Kay did not deserve that.
She did not deserve that. No, at all.
I still think it's about just winning and getting back at people.
Well, and if it is, on some level, I know that like you're not supposed to do that, but also, I believe that I will never seek revenge for things because there's no good in me to do that. It doesn't do anything for me. However, if karma falls into my lap and says, "Hey, bro, you want a bite? I'm hungry. Let's go."
I couldn't follow the last part. You're gonna bite karma in the crotch?
Leave me alone. No. I said I don't believe in seeking revenge. Like I'm never going to be.
Oh, revenge. Got it. You're gonna bite revenge in the crotch. Gotcha.
I'm gonna tear it up. Jeez. I can't with you bitches. JC, I'm high. What are you talking about?
Completely sober.
So when I'm high, I turn into
That's
a
the
hippie.
best time to mess with people who are drunk guys when you're sober.
I opted not to get the high because if I'm high, I'm a hippie, and so I decided I don't need to be a hippie for this.
High. I'm closest.
I live in a state
And then
where even like CBD is illegal, so
you can just take a little trip.
I live in a city where everything is legal.
Yeah,
we're all going.
Me
there.
too.
Well, because here in Canada, if something becomes legal, it's legal nationwide. It's not just it's just legal in Ontario. So once pot became legal, it was legal across Canada.
That's why we got state and federal laws.
Ridiculous.
And
because we're a republic, not a democracy. People,
why would I like G-Man? G-Man is harmful and hurtful to people. He hates LGBTQ folks. He is the worst version of Christianity ever. He actually deconverted a 13-year-old. Why would I like G-Man?
why is an adult talking? Is it somebody he knows in person?
Yeah, somebody
Why is
that's
a man
like
talking to
on
a
a SOC,
13-year-old?
they're asking about G-Man. He actually deconverted a 13-year-old by accident. He said, if this is what it means to be a Christian, I don't want to be one. And he left Christianity.
That
Sounds
might be an
scary. Take a
intelligent
seat.
13-year-old. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
All right, let's get back to Chesh.
A medical provider who was basically somebody who helps manage medications. He was like a medical assistant who had been like working with Charla for like 10 to 15 years. And then Charla's psychologist. And then the expert witness. So that would be what? Not including Charla, 7, if I'm not mistaken. As for Aaron and Veda's side,
is a cult
there was
expert,
nobody. They showed up on their own. I mean, they showed up together, but they didn't have anybody else
That's
with them.
what's been said, yeah.
Veda asked if she could submit some witness statements at the beginning, and the judge denied it. There should always be a coffee machine. Yes. Yes, there should. Let me make sure that I'm getting everybody's questions. I know I saw some, so I'm going to scroll back a little bit in the chat. Was there something really frustrating during cross-examine?
Castor, respectfully, this stream is about this topic that we're talking about specifically. We would love to answer your questions.
And boobs.
You would go ahead, and boobs. If you would go ahead and submit your questions in the written form to either my DMs or Spackle's DMs, we will be happy to address them. We'll do it publicly even. Just leave it on my Twitter. But right now we're talking about this. Cool.
Yeah. G-Man's in a whole other subject. I typically have stayed away from him recently because I feel like he doesn't meet the height requirement to actually confront.
Well, hang on. I want to say this. He said it's okay. Chat can never distract. If people can control their own minds, and just ignore me. I don't want to ignore you. I am controlling my own mind. I'm telling you, if you're in control of yourself, sir, calm down, submit the questions a different way, and we'll be happy to address them. I'm giving you an option. I'm not telling you to stop or to be ignored.
Also, there's plenty of outlets for G-Man, like the Geek Room. Anyway.
And the cross-examination of you as a witness by Veda and Aaron. I wasn't really annoyed. Like, I didn't really get too annoyed by what they were asking. Like, most of their questions I could kind of understand, like, what they were trying to ask. But what was kind of frustrating is that I understood the question. So particularly Veda. She was trying to ask questions, and I understood the question she was trying to ask me, but
But she was too dumb.
And I wanted to help her. I was like, I understand what you're asking, but I can't do that. I have to, like, wait for her to kind of figure out how she wanted to phrase it. So it wasn't really annoying. It was more just like,
yeah, Veda is one of those people where you can tell what she wants to say, but she's too stupid to word it, and you don't want to help her, right? So you're just like, well,
That's
there's
why
that.
you have a lawyer.
This is rough. You know what I mean? Chesh, but you didn't bring Steve up. It was either Veda, Aaron, or Charlotte's lawyer. Yeah, I don't go on the stand and then just talk. Right, I have to be asked questions, and so I have to answer as truthfully or as best as I can, or to the best of my knowledge or memory.
As truthfully or
so, yeah,
as best as I can.
Just start talking. So any time that Steve would have come up, it would have been due to a question that was asked. I've heard there was some restraining orders put in place. Can you comment on that? And is that information correct? I've been out of the loop and only caught wind of this recently. Oh, you need a TLDR.
What jackass
so
asked that question?
Steve has an active restraining order. Veda and Aaron were in court, and that was the hearing that I went to for temporary restraining orders. And from my understanding, Ranelle also has a temporary restraining order. Veda had tried to file a temporary
So Ranelle said something on our live stream about moving her whole family or some bullshit. Did you guys see that?
I have never watched Ranelle, so
I heard that she presented as if her family were somehow in trouble or they're physically fearful, and so she physically moved them to a different place of abode,
which is just a bunch of bullshit that people actually believe that. And if that is actually really happening, and KJ, this is all worth it for you, Renelle. Get the fuck offline. That's it. Get off.
Wait, here's my thing with it, okay? Katie Joy is such a terrible mother. She never leaves the house. She doesn't let her son go out. She stays home. She's a shut-in. How is she going to come bother anybody at their house? You can't have it both ways.
She said that she had to, because her parents live with her, and she said that a family member had to come take her parents away for a week or two. Well, it sounds like maybe one of Renelle's siblings just was taking
stressed out
was taking them on vacation. Like, it's so ridiculous. Renelle is a big fat liar. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I'm saying it.
Did she really claim that she had to locate her kids and parents outside the country? Really?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing I'm wondering, though. Here's my thought process. There's a reason that Renelle is saying this, either because she's making it up for a court case or because she truly feels like there's a threat. And if she truly feels like there's a threat, to me, that signifies that she's receiving some kind of threatening communication. And if that's the case, then she needs to report it to the authorities so that they can look into it to find out who's really doing it. Because all this time,
agreed,
I have absolutely felt like there was someone who is, it's not one side sending threats to the other. It's a third party sending threats to everybody for the sake of chaos alone.
Influenced by spuds. I don't know.
It's one person that has been responsible for all these bullshit.
Yeah.
All these threats, and going back before any of these people before Charlotte was even involved, going back to months and months ago, when a certain person was trying to blame Uni for these threatening emails that are going around. One person has been throwing or like sending threatening emails to a bunch of you guys. So this way it makes her story, it gives her story some validity. I don't care. Veda's behind everything, and I just said it. I don't care.
Just saying, you hit on something. When those threatening emails that were fake Nat, I'm gonna say that's fake Nat.
Because we don't really know who it is.
No, that's my speculation.
They went
and I'd be surprised.
I want to explain who they went to. They went to people that really a certain potato would send to. They went to Nonsense. They went to Renelle. They went to EKC. Isn't that suspect? Isn't that interesting?
Very suspect. It's very suspect. And they fell into this. And I know this is speculation, but I would be very surprised if it did not come out that she was behind all of it. And if you guys didn't, if this community didn't learn anything from Nat, a person came out of nowhere. Veda came out of nowhere. I don't care if you guys want. So EKC the other day.
That is very true. She did come out of nowhere.
Well, EKC said that they've known her for so long and she's been doing stuff in the background.
Well, yes, she did say that. So that's where she contradicted herself. First, she said that Veda was brought into the community a couple of years ago to investigate all the stuff that was going on with Nat and the Toddy Westbrook, Nat's involvement. No. And was there a connection with KJ with all that? But then somebody posed another question to her in chat. And she's like, well, how do you expect something about Nat? And she's like, well, Veda wasn't around. How do you expect her to know all the history of Nat? Well, hang on a second. You just said that she was brought in 2 years ago. So she was brought,
specifically to look at that, to supposedly investigate that. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all, there were plenty of people who were investigating that situation, specifically authorities.
Right.
They have more education, experience, and sense than anybody else who was brought in to investigate anything.
Right. Yeah, they're going to Veda.
Hey guys, randomly my phone is dying and I have been looking for my charger and cannot find it, so I'm gonna have to head out.
Do you have any last comments to make?
God, I don't know why I felt like do you have any last words? Like I'm walking the plank or something. Ahoy mateys. I don't
Castor,
know.
you can send me a message with any questions you have. You're not being ignored, Castor. I'm sorry. You're not derailing the chat. You're allowed to chat about whatever you would like. What you're doing is trying to derail the panel, which is fine because we're all here for the good times, right? giggles and shits.
Not a
Whatever
long
comes
time.
first.
My battery's dying, so I'll see you guys later. Thank you
Bye,
for having me on,
JC.
Spackle.
Joining
Bye,
JC.
JC.
I'll answer Castor's questions. What are our feelings in LGBTQ? My feeling is that God loves everyone, and it's people who are assholes.
Yeah. It's such a weird question to ask, too.
Hi, Grace K.
I'm used
Cute
to it on my
thing.
channel. That's really common. And if you're asking that question, it means you're old school. It means you've probably been around for a while.
Yeah,
If you're
that
asking that question, you probably have seen Dragnut and G-Man and me in action. And so, welcome. Hi.
Learn to troll better.
Sorry,
I couldn't help it.
Piss Bottle Prophet or whoever you are today.
TT can give you lessons in trolling. She's an expert.
TT.
Yeah.
TT is the mayor of trolling.
The mayor of KJP and anti KJP. I don't know. She's a mayor of something. I don't remember what.
And you know,
who am I
going back
sending
to
the link to? Oh, I'm sending a link to Julie. Julie, I'm finding you.
Virgo.
1 second.
I'm
you know
gonna
what?
drop when Virgo comes on because I have to go eat my food.
But we need
then
you.
you're gonna come back?
I'll come back.
Okay. And while Julie's coming up, I'm just gonna go
I'll
back
just
to
mute while I shove my face full. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect. And going back to like all this stuff, you know, like Erin for the past few months running around trying to blame everybody about Nat, saying, you know, she was saying to Pork Chop, she was saying to this person, your friends, maybe it was your friends talking to Nat. The only people that we found out were in communication with Nat and voluntarily volunteered their help to assist Nat with pictures of KJ's kid were what? Dottie, LMN, and Tina. They were all Erin's friends. Yet she has the nerve to sit on Twitter for, 2 years now and blame everybody else for Nat. Yet it was only her friends. It was only her friends that were the ones that had to, hey.
Right, can I just say, Castor Oil, or whatever your name is, listen, Spackle's views in LGBTQ, let me tell you, Spackle is bisexual. She believes everyone should love who they love, and trans people should be allowed to be who they are. A trans woman is a woman, right? End of story. Let it go, pal. There's no censoring here, right? If you've watched Spackle before, you know our views, so shut up. Anyways, getting my nerves. Castor Oil, whatever your name is.
You can record anything, baby. To Castor says, glad I recorded the fake Christians. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't say it out loud.
Is G-Man gonna out me as a bisexual again? Is that gonna happen? Oh, good. Let that happen again.
I'm a trisexual. I'll try anything once, baby.
Oh, sorry,
I have a video for this somewhere.
Spackle, I thought everyone knew you were bisexual. Did I out you?
I announced it. So here's how I came out as bisexual online.
All right, thank God.
So in 2015 or so, it was about 2015, we had a bunch of Calvinist Christians surrounding a young man who's about 17. And a 17-year-old kid, this is actually serious, guys. A 17-year-old kid, 17 years old, said, I'm going to kill myself because I'm homosexual. And I cannot stop this. I cannot take this out of me. I want to love Jesus. I want to be a Christian. But people are saying that I'm not. And I just I cannot separate this out of me. And I'm going to kill myself. And there's a bunch of Calvinists that were surrounding him saying, well, that's just your sinful nature. And if you give into your sinful nature, then of course, like you're going to end yourself and stuff like that. But if you don't give into your sinful nature, then you'll be saved. And that was when I came up as a bisexual. I could probably hide and go blend in because I'm married to a man as a straight person. But I felt like that would be wrong. And so I said something. And so ever since then, I paid a penalty for showing that, yeah, I'm bisexual. So big deal. So
yeah,
I like girls on Tuesday. What's up?
It's not a big deal. Listen, in my opinion, sexuality is a spectrum. And if this person, Castor Oil or Pollux or whatever its name is, as saying, "Oh, fake Christians because you believe in homosexuality." Well, clearly that's your weird, bigoted interpretation of the Bible, pal, and you're probably a closet homosexual if you hate gays, and that is a fact. If someone hates gays, they're usually a closeted homosexual because it's called homophobia for a reason, and they're scared of it because they're in the closet. So castor oil, come out the cupboard or the closet and just weeshed, right? We're not going there. We are talking about this person here with the dodgy haircut, right? And her going to court.
Stop it.
You're the best, Julie. You're the best.
Oh my God.
With the dodgy haircut, yes.
And yes, I fancy Britney Spears, and she's a woman.
Sorry.
We call that the Scottish bitch trap. Scrap.
I fancy, and you fancy. Who else do you fancy? Someone I don't like so much. Miley Cyrus. Yep.
Yeah.
I love her, honestly. You know who I love more? Julie Virgo.
Julie Virgo.
She's my cousin.
Did she just call him castor oil?
Julie Virgo's hot.
Yeah,
stuff,
repeatedly.
Yeah, castor
if I was
oil.
20 in my 20s, yeah, Julie Virgo would be hot stuff.
Oh,
Julie Virgo
fine.
is hot.
That's nice. That's a compliment.
Julie's
No,
hilarious.
the quick and easy of it is that I believe that people should love whoever they want. And I don't think the creator of all things, the person that sustains the whole universe, would care about if you love a person in a healthy relationship and even in a monogamous relationship. And if they were the same gender, I don't think they would give a damn. I really don't. So that's where I'm at.
Also,
God is gonna judge you for picking the name castor oil.
Also, who cares what
label
somebody
yourself a pain in the ass? So go on.
And also, who cares what people do in the privacy of their own home, in their own bedroom? Does it change your life at the end of the night? At the end of the day? No.
And
no.
Jesus loved everyone.
Participate.
So if Jesus loved everyone, maybe he was a bit gay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what's wrong? What's wrong? I do believe sexuality is a spectrum, and there's nothing wrong with it. Jesus would totally love Jesus. Jesus would not care who's gay. Like, I'm not religious, but I believe in something, and I really don't. I think with the type of people in this world, gay people are the least of his problems. I think he's got bigger fish to fry, like Cheshire's haircut.
Like Chester's haircut. Yeah, that is really serious out of the whole universe. That's the one.
Sorry about that.
That's funny. Thank you, Julie. That's funny, though. Yeah, I appreciate it. No, we don't really... We're not really moved by that sort of thing. So, like, I'm not easily triggered. I mean, you're going to have to trigger me a little harder. I'm told every day, like, from Christians, fundamentalists, that I ought to be stoned. These are real things that I've been told. I ought to be stoned. I ought to be murdered. You're going to end up in hell for the rest of your life. You're a groomer. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, the awful things that are said to me. And that's whatever. I mean, that's the part of being on the internet. And yep. I think you should know that I'm friends with, or I was friends with Drag and Burnt Toast and all those people. I think you should know that I have pretty thick skin, and I've been in these arguments and these debates for a very, very long time. And I've had horrendous things said to me, horrible things said to me. I don't think I'm going to block you because you say something a little bit weird. So I think you should calm down. And I think you're overvaluing whatever you're trying to say. Mm-hmm. G-Man and I got into a fight over LGBTQ issues because when my friend who was gay died, who was Jade, who is Steve McRae's friend, and my friend Fiona's friend, and my friend, when she died, he said on and on and on. He made a whole series of videos of how she's going to hell because she's a lesbian and she's a Catholic. And she was a non-practicing lesbian who said, yes, I'm a lesbian. I have same-sex attraction, but I happen to be single. I happen to be celibate, and I'm a Catholic. And he went on and on for videos after videos saying that she is gay and she's going into hell. And so that's how that's how G-Man and I went against each other. Pretty much that. I think he's a rotten man. I think he does more harm than good for Christianity. And if he wanted to save people and bring people to Christendom, you'd want to be more inclusive instead of exclusive. But because he's such a shit human being, because he's such a garbage person, he's such a rotten asshole that he wants everybody else to be below him. And he thinks that those 10% of population of people, 10%, there's 10% of people that are gay because they're gay, that they're somehow lesser than him. Okay?
I hate that. I hate the type of people.
He's a rotten piece of shit.
But I think that stems from something else. Like these people that are like that, I think they use religion as an excuse, and it stems from their own issues with their own sexuality. And it makes them bitter and hateful.
He's the one that talked about how he prays every day against homosexuality and how he had a dream about these military men that were trying to get at him in the bathroom, and how he woke up. And there was another time where he woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and he went live and he said, I'm going to talk about trans people. And we're like, this isn't normal. If you're a heterosexual man, this is not normal.
Yeah, as Wendy Williams says, denial is a river in Egypt. G-Man, you're gay. You know, that's like you know what I mean? Like when they hate gay people so much and have to like pray against homosexuality and have these dreams, it's like obviously you're suppressing something there. Just be yourself. Life's too short. And guarantee he's going to, if anyone's going to hell, he's going to hell for being such an awful human being. So, you know, anyways, sorry about that. But my question is, sorry for derailing there. Castor oil annoyed me, but my question is, so Renelle, right? Why is Renelle getting a TRO? Because didn't she just speak up once or twice?
No, she hasn't stopped. And she's still going.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, then fair enough. But I don't know. I think
what they thought was that they weren't able to address the person that's the plaintiff directly, so they employed, quote unquote, not necessarily paid, but employed Renelle to do some dirty work, if that makes sense.
Well, right, my thing is, right, obviously it's clear how I feel about all of them. I find them kind of culty, they go too far, stuff like that. But where Charlotte, the plaintiff, loses me is, you know, doxing on Twitter. I feel like at the beginning she sort of reached out to people to do her dirty work for her. It's like not dirty work, but like defend her. And then when everyone was like, listen, we know how they roll, this is nothing new to us, there's no point in that, like, sort of thing. Then she, you know, she done the doxing, and I get the TROs if, you know, I don't really get it all, so I get that. But where she loses me is because Cheshire, I don't know how, when like Cheshire wasn't here at the beginning of this, and Cheshire, in my opinion, has made up way worse, has defamed people way more, like way worse than Erin has defamed people. And Erin does, you know, Erin is brutal. I'm not saying she's not. At least Erin's openly, you know, like, I'm who I am, you know. But Chesh is up.
What the hell is happening?
That's what I was wondering. Is Sparkle get somebody in the basement?
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
I was trying to show something real quick.
Anyway,
Right, I got
She's not done.
right.
She ain't done yet.
I'm
One
so
second.
confused right
What is
now.
she doing?
It doesn't mean that you got to carry them out. So when you hear that false teacher, Holy Spackle, in that room saying, "Oh, G-Man's praying away his gay thoughts," the reason why Spackle's saying that, I'm sorry, the reason why Spackle took what I said out of context is because Spackle's gay herself. That's why.
Ooh,
Don't worry,
bomb
Holy
drop.
Spackle. I'll be dealing with you soon enough. Trust me. I'll be dealing with you soon enough, but I'm going to do it on a different platform. And in there, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to play you out so bad it's not even going to be funny. All right? Because I'm going to have the last laugh. I assure you on that. And I'm going to give people the proof. Because I record my stuff, woman. I'm going to give people the proof that I know you're LGBTQ.
That's unholy.
But you could be the one right now. I'm having fun.
Oh my.
I'm having
What?
fun right
What?
now.
What proof? What proof are you going to show? Oh my God. Anyway, sorry.
So sorry, what I was asking was, right, that's where she loses me is Chesh because
Spackle, you might want to take what's on screen off. Yeah, there you go.
Erin is like obviously Erin, and I think if Erin fell out with Steve, Erin wouldn't change her stance on everything and pretend to be in a moral high ground. I think she would just keep her stance and keep saying the problematic, like doing what she does, right? But Cheshire is like acting as if she's on this moral high ground. She's just here to help and everything like that. And okay, like I personally, why would you have a witness that has done the exact same things for Steve as the person you're going against? It just
That's
wasn't
what blows my mind. I don't understand that. And it makes it really hard to be sympathetic to the plaintiff. I want to be sympathetic
because the court doesn't, because I don't agree with it, but I'll explain why. Is because that is outside the purview of what's going on here. Outside of the purview of what's going on here. The court doesn't care. The court doesn't care what Chesh has done in her life. They don't care. I mean, they bring in fellow prisoners as witnesses, right? Like somebody that could have like offed people, serial. I don't even know what I can say on YouTube. What I mean, as a witness to something that they may have heard or saw in jail so they don't care. The courts doesn't care what this person has done. That person is there as a witness to testify to whatever they need to testify to. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't matter. I'm not saying that it shouldn't matter to us. It just doesn't matter to them because it's outside the purview of what the case is about. So you can have a shitty person be an excellent witness for you. I'm not saying Chesh is, but you know what I'm saying? Because that person happened to witness something that proves your innocence or disproves your innocence, right?
So did Chesh witness when it all went down?
I have no idea how Chesh got involved. I still have no idea how Chesh is. There's so many people that were with Charla right from the get-go and defending her and in DMs with her and talking to her. And I mean, you saw it, Julie. It was all over Twitter, right? I don't know how Chesh and Manya just kind of got involved.
I know that's what I don't get. That's what I don't get.
Maybe she was the only witness that was willing to make the trip. Maybe maybe Charlotte called a bunch of witnesses, but maybe a lot of them said, "Listen, I support you, but I don't want any part of this."
I don't think that Charlotte knew these people or their history or anything. So if somebody volunteered to help and they looked like a wealth of knowledge, she went with that person. You have to remember, Julie, she didn't know. I know she knew some things, but she hasn't been here this whole time like all of us.
All right, okay. Well, I mean, with the proof she has, I didn't think she'd need a witness if, she's got the mod call and stuff, but maybe she does.
I still don't understand what Chesh is providing. Like, the only thing that I can surmise is that she's establishing a pattern of Steve's behavior and how he gets that. That's what I think. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. Because I just don't know what else she would be needed for, you know?
Well, she essentially can present, and I don't know what the truth is, but she could present herself essentially as like the precursor to EKC. And, you know, Charlotte's lawyer could come into court and say, we have this situation with this other person. It's a group of people that colluded, da da da. Here's what we established in this other state where the other person is. And this is a person who's going to testify because they did the same things for the first defendant that this defendant here in court did.
Okay, I'm reading Rita's comment. Her witness list had 12 people in California, but the judge in Kansas required in-person witnesses and people were scared. So did people actually show up for the TRO with Steve or with the hearing with Steve? Do we know that? Like witnesses?
We can ask Rita.
That's edited. That is not me, believe it or not. I just stuck my head on Joey King when she went out with Jacob Eloradi, and I'm obsessed with him, so I stuck my head on her face. So thank
Julie's hilarious.
You are hilarious. I like it. I love it.
Okay, so can Rita tell us, like, can she name witnesses? I can't wait for the transcript. I'm playing the bailiff.
I know. I want to know the transcript. I'm fascinated.
I've got to I'll play the judge. Order. No, wait, that's Parliament.
I think you would make a great judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want you to wear a wig. If you get to be the judge, you need to wear a wig.
Oh, I'll get a wig. I'll dress up
Love
like a British judge.
Chesh said her testimony was about context and how it was abnormal to go after subs. Wait, what?
So, Chesh, I don't know what Chesh's point was exactly, but I will say this, that the plaintiff does not have a YouTube channel. And it's kind of a known thing as a YouTuber to not go after people that have a YouTube channel. So like Titan Uranus, I'm just going to use an example, and I think you can understand. Titan Uranus mods for a lot of people, like a lot of mods. Like he's up there with Claire and how many people he mods for. But what Titan Uranus, it would be messed up for me to wield my channel against Titan Uranus should we have a disagreement. It would be messed up because Titan Uranus doesn't really have a channel. He doesn't really make YouTube content. So if I wield my subscribers against Titan Uranus, it messes up the playing field, right? And one of the things that I noticed is Steve made 13 videos in 1 month against the plaintiff. In 1 month, he made 13 videos. 13 videos against her. For somebody that's a non-creator, that's kind of fucked up.
And
there's
that's
sort of an
Steve's
understanding,
video.
and it's kind of unspoken, but there's sort of an understanding between creators that you don't go after other non-creators, people that are subscribers or people that are commenters. You just don't fuck them up. It's punching down, like you said. And it's not I don't mean that in a demeaning way, because I'm sure Charlotte's fine. It's just that she doesn't have a channel, so it's not fair.
Not a fair playing field. You can have dissenting opinions on your channel with people in your chat.
Wait
and
a second.
You can hash it out there, but it wasn't just Steve's 13 videos that month. It was Veda's 9 and EKC's 7, and Nikki's and a whole bunch,
I have to ask a question. Titan Uranus, is that a play on words?
Well, obviously it is. So Titan Uranus is Nick Suter's mod, and Steve hates him, absolutely hates him. And Titan Uranus, it seems to be He's a mod for a lot of people. He holds the rents for a lot of people. He's generally fair. He doesn't usually overwield his wrench. The only exception I would say is we had an argument about how to deal with Anchangelo, who outed somebody who was trans and dead named them, and we had an argument about how to do that. My argument was, when you deal with fundamentalists, expect them to do fundamentalist things. But Titan Uranus is generally somebody that tries to promote the goodness of community, and he tries to be fair. So I will give him that.
What does dead man someone mean?
Dead naming someone is like, let's say he says, my name is Tanya because I've transitioned as a trans person to Tanya.
Oh, okay.
And somebody goes, ha ha, your name is Tony. I knew it all the time.
Yeah.
And then they'll out your old picture of when you looked more masculine and stuff. And it's really harmful to the trans person because it makes them feel triggered, because dysphoria is a form of triggering, and it is really fucked up. And dysphoria can be a source of suicidal feelings and all that sort of stuff. But I would say that the only thing is, when you engage with fundamentalist Christians, know that they're going to trigger you. They're going to bring up how you're bisexual, and you're going to go to hell. How you are ashamed to the gospel, how you're ashamed to Jesus. They'll go on, and however they want to completely degrade you if you're LGBTQ. So if you know how to play the game, I would just say that that's what they do. But Titan Uranus is generally good folk. He's fair. He tries to be somebody that's even-handed, and he does mod for several people.
I hate when people dead name or like deliberately
It's fucked up.
Use the wrong pronouns, because it's like deliberate, like if someone's dyed their blonde and it used to be brunette, you're not going to call that person a brunette anymore. So use the same, obviously it's deeper than that, but use the same logic, it's not hard to
I understand people accidentally doing it because they've known a person for a long time. They've been calling them Stephanie for 20 years, and then at times they're gonna, like, you got to get others you have to allow people some grace to get used to it, right?
That's like when they're just transitioning. I mean, when people are like being transitioned for
intentionally, and then people are intentionally.
Anchangelo was intentional. He was digging up that person's information, and it was completely designed to hurt the person. That for sure.
All right. Let's get back to chat. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Jolie, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading Rita's comment. Megan was getting one, and then Charla said she lost support to do it, and that Nikki was a joke and a Steve puppet. Well, like, I mean, why? With all due respect, who cares if people support her getting one against Megan? If Megan was harassing her, why would
I think Megan was just as well, maybe not as bad, but
she was behind the scenes, because
she was a lot behind. She deserved one a lot more than maybe, I don't know, Aaron did. I don't know. It's not that
I think the way I read this is that maybe Nikki was going to support giving information over, and then
right.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I get you.
I could read it wrong, but
yeah, Megan,
like you guys said, Megan does everything behind everybody's backs. It's never public, so it's harder to prove.
And I believe Nikki is okay. I know people might disagree with me. I believe Nikki is harmless.
So
why do I think she's harmless? Because I don't think she really understands. She doesn't have a full grasp of things. I'm not saying she's stupid. I'm not saying that at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I don't think that she grasps the severity of some things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's so quick to, I believe she's naive. I believe she's an easy target. Steve can tell her anything. Listen, I've had this. I've said this plenty of times. Like, how many times have we heard Nikki and all of them, and even Renelle keep saying it, and this is her defense, because people are saying to Renelle, "Why are you putting your family through this? And one of her defense was because I believed sticking up for the wrongdoings against Steve from KJ was maybe worth it in the beginning. I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say those words exactly, but she was basically saying that. Or people are like, why are you still going after KJ after all this time, especially if this is what's happening now with you getting art TRs. And she's like, I was sticking up for a man that was wronged by KJ because
How
she
can
lied about
she
him.
even have known that? Because this is the reality of it. None of us really know what happened.
Well,
we can only go on. Yeah.
How long have they been? And how long have Veda came into the picture? Aaron has been saying, Brunel has been saying, Tina has been saying, Nikki came into the picture eventually, and she's been saying, we saw proof. He never essayed KJ.
I put it out there.
It's like, oh my God, how would he possibly be able to show you proof? Like, I think what he's doing, what he is showing them text DMs between him and KJ when him and KJ are cool, and he's going, where did you read it all? Where did I essay her? And they're like, well, you didn't. No, of course not. Listen, we have said this before on live streams. Listen, Nikki, Veda, everybody who's listening, it happened in a video chat room. It happened. And KJ,
it was like backstage on a StreamYard.
It was backstage before a stream, and Bull may not have recorded, but we'll never know because Bull's hard drive was picked up by Red's Rhetoric and his goons.
Oh, I'd
so we will never know.
I'd call Cinema. I'd call. Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, so it was a backstage thing. I think they were preparing because remember they all used to, including KJ, used to do like the non sequitur. Was it the non sequitur? What show was it? Was it the non sequitur?
The Smoking Nun.
Oh, the smoke. Yeah,
the
that's
Smoking
right.
Nun is non sequitur.
So the four of them were backstage: Steve, KJ, Kyle, and I believe Bull was there. Bull left, and Kyle stepped away for a period of time. Steve then turned to KJ. It's now just KJ and him. And Steve started to talk inappropriately to KJ. Right. And it made her feel uncomfortable. And the reason why
he had license to do that was because the way KJ and is not an excuse, but the way KJ and Kyle joke, because Kyle's a gay guy.
Yes.
May I remind you, he's gay. So the way that you talk to a gay guy might be different because you might feel more comfortable with him. You know that he's not interested. So she was joking with Kyle in a way that was a little bit sexually charged, and Steve just thought, well, the license extends to me, is what I understand. That's what I understand.
He's mad. All this stems from ultimately that Steve, who thinks he is the scion of the god of women, got rejected and got his fifis hurt.
Yes.
And that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. He said inappropriate stuff to KJ, made her feel uncomfortable. Afterwards, she went to Kyle and she simply said, never leave me alone with that guy again. He said this, it made me uncomfortable. Steve blew it up into a big thing. KJ has repeatedly come out and said, and I'm sure people have the tweets, I'm sure people have the clips, where she repeatedly said, I never said he essayed me. I said he made me feel uncomfortable. And I didn't like what he was talking about. I think he was talking about his private reason.
She was pretty reserved in her commentary about him. She didn't really go on and on about him. She was actually pretty reserved. Yeah.
For all these women, Veda, Nikki, Aaron, Tina, Renelle, all these women, down the rabbit hole, whoever, all these women to say, we don't like what KJ did to Steve. We've seen proof. He never did that. How do you know? You were not backstage.
Did you see the backstage video that was on Bull's hard drive that suddenly disappeared when Bull died? Did you see that? I doubt it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Steve has lied to this woman and lied to this woman. Of course, he's never told them the real story. Everybody in the community, or they do know the story and they just want to refuse to listen to it. Well, then you deserve everything you get.
And he's got a track record. Like, Steve isn't. It's not as if this is a one-time accusation. Like that.
Did you see with JKJ, who was pretty awful to both Unirock and other people in the community? Where she was sending pictures unsolicited to people, and they're like, can you stop? And she sent another picture in response.
Who's Jesse? Are we talking about?
Jesse,
Oh,
JKJ.
Yeah.
He was utilizing her for a long time. He has a problem with utilizing unhinged people against people he doesn't like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He was all too willing to let Jesse into his orbit because they had a common enemy, one of them being AZ at the time, and others.
And I have the screenshots for that, by the way. So if you come at me, I have the screenshots for that. And it's pretty disgusting.
I'm just sick and tired of these women constantly jumping up on their panels, making videos and say, what KJ did to Steve was wrong. What did she do to him? Like, I ask these women as women, what if some dude came to you, you were out, and some dude you knew or just met or didn't know, whatever, so you guys were having a lovely conversation, and all of a sudden he started to be real creepy and say stuff to you that made you feel uncomfortable because you said to a friend afterwards, never let that guy near me again. He makes me feel uncomfortable. Or never leave me alone with that person again. I don't like the stuff that he said. What is wrong with that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they've made her out to be this monster. Is KJ problematic? Yes. But this idea that Steve has shown them proof, that's a lie. And I asked Steve to show the proof. Because what proof do you have unless you're recording that backstage Zoom call that they were having or whatever meeting they were having? It never happened on paper. It happened in a private meeting or whatever, like exactly what Pickle's saying, some backstage meeting, and there was 4 people there, and 2 of the people had walked away had already left the chat, and he was being inappropriate as we have all seen him do to other women. Look at the stuff. I remember him and a bunch of people were on a panel with Chesh, and he said something like, Chesh promised to give us all BJs at the end. Remember something like that, right, Spackle?
I don't remember that, but I remember he said, let's play a game. Whose penis is this? As if you turn off the lights and someone's dick is in your mouth. And Cheshliar kind of did this polite ha 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 and kind of moved on. There's like a lot of
There's another one about BJs.
Like
I remember seeing it. Also, let's talk about when he was all over Twitter and all over whatever, or on his, on his channel showing he's on a date and he's like, say hi to Chesh, and he's got a camera.
Say hi to Chesh, to the Applebee's girl. Yeah.
To the Applebee girl that he's out on a date with, and you can clearly see she's uncomfortable.
Right.
And, so I don't know why you guys may want to these women may want to say, well, who cares? He's my friend. That's fine. You have that right and you can defend him. But don't come for women that say, I don't want to be around this guy. He makes me feel uncomfortable, because we've all witnessed him do it.
Exactly.
That's it. All she said, all she did was say to Kyle, never leave me in a chat with him again alone. That's it.
And I'm not a huge fan of AKC. I don't really like her. In fact, recently she came from me in a live chat with Siwa Moon, of all people.
Oh,
and she said, Holly Spackle, Holly. She didn't know my name. Holly Spackle hates me. And she made a whole bunch of videos against me. I have zero videos against KJP. Yeah. KJP, sorry. I have 0 videos against this woman. But I did push back at her a little bit in Uni's chat. Just a little bit. And that is enough for her to be, making an enemy for life, apparently. And that's fine. But the truth is that I believe that she just tried to create a boundary and Steve was affronted by it. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm. So does Chesh explain in this live what she witnessed and how she became a witness?
I don't know if she addresses how she became a witness, but she does address things that she witnessed in the courtroom.
Right.
Yeah, we need to maybe listen to Chesh a little bit more because we're getting off topic.
Listen, my real true name is Holly Spatula. Okay, Holly Spatula.
To file a restraining order on Charla and Katie Joy in North Carolina, and that was tossed out. And Steve tried to file a restraining order on Charla in California, which he dropped the day of. Hopefully that answers your question. So as of right now, for Veda and Aaron, the temporary restraining orders are remaining in place, and so whatever rules applied before the hearing are applying after the hearing. If that makes sense. Let me know if that didn't. If you need more than that. If that answered your question or not. Have the courts decided that you're a Steve hater? I don't think so. That was not what the court was there to decide, so I would imagine that the court does not have an opinion on that.
I can confirm that EKC managed to say that Cheshliar couldn't get Steve out of his mouth. But that's her ongoing criticism of anybody that criticizes their cult-like activity. Let's just say that.
I don't think that's a. I don't think they came to a conclusion. I think the jury's still out on that one. So Aaron's son did not come with her. Aaron and Veda showed up together, but they had nobody else with them. So if there was somebody else that was supposed to be there with them, they were not. What was it like seeing them in person? Charlotte was wonderful. I had a good time with her. She was very friendly. She was very accommodating. She gave me popcorn.
I could believe that. I believe that Charlotte would be pretty hospitable if she's from the South or the country. That's generally the thing, is to be hospitable. That's an ongoing thing. So that's a thing.
Yeah, but peace and love, I still find it weird. Someone that you've just met over the internet, introducing them to your family right away. I just find that a bit odd.
Pretty bold, right?
Yeah, because look at how Cheshire was before. What if she turned? That's risky business.
Right.
But yeah, she probably is hospitable.
I got to eat her lasagna, which was quite good. Her family was very nice. Her husband is a very sweet person. From my experience with him, I enjoyed my time just chatting. We did have a lot to talk about with the case and what was going on and X, Y, and Z and yada yada and where things are going to go from here. But a lot of that remained to be seen. As for Aaron and Veda, I can't say I was surprised. They are kind of about what I expected. They were very flustered. I took a look over while questioning was going on, and I actually wrote it down because they were sharing a desk. So there was a desk with Aaron and Veda, and then a desk with Charlotte and her lawyer, and then all the witnesses sitting on one side, and then a bunch of empty chairs on the other side. And the desk, as the day went on, just got more and more chaotic. There were papers everywhere. Aaron was taking notes with a fluffy dollar store pen with a poof on the top of it, and she was taking notes on Post-it notes, and I was like,
pens. That's
Stop.
That is very Elwood.
It does sound like Aaron, doesn't it?
It sounds very like Elwood's,
Right, with her foo-foo ear things that she puts on.
She's illegally blonde. Erin is illegally blonde.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It's just weird how Steve got away with just a non-disclosure agreement, and now Erin is. I mean, Steve's the worst.
He's gotten away with so much, and Aaron's left holding the bag. In my opinion, it looks like Aaron's is holding the bag. Well, shit.
I know.
What?
I'm so angry. I'd be so angry if I was Erin at Steve. I would
be too.
And I would love to hear that mod call. Didn't Pork Chop have some of the mod call?
Yeah, she put some of the mod call out, and it was kind of interesting to listen to. And then I can't remember it really, to be honest. But
because it was a very little, like a small portion of it. So, and we didn't have any context, and we didn't know what was really going on back then. So we were like, "Wait a minute, what's happening here?"
I really I would like to see that, though. That's where that's what obviously. I didn't agree with Pork Chop sharing the docs of that Katie's a liar person because at the end of the day, that isn't going to go well for Charlotte either if that's pointed out. Like, listen, you've just doxed someone publicly. If she wanted information to know who that person is and she's got a lawyer, surely the lawyer could have found that out or found information out. There was no need to put it on Twitter.
The doxing.
That's how I felt like with the Katie is a liar person. I think Katie is a liar is a dirty rat. I think she's an awful person.
I think
she's a horrendous person. But that being said, I'm against doxing. If you can at all help it, don't put people's personal information on Twitter or YouTube. If you can at all help it, because it is not only harmful against the person that you're going, well, fuck you, Katie is a liar. But also it harms everybody else in the community because it raises the ante. And now everybody's going to get into a doxing war. It really is usually what happens. Well, and so that's why I'm against doxing. I think it's harmful for community.
People become desensitized to it. Like 3 years ago, doxing was like this horrible thing. Now people are just doing it, because people are like, oh, it's no biggie anymore kind of thing. So everybody's doing it. And it's like, oh no. Like, no, you shouldn't all be doing it. It never made any sense. There was more than one person involved with putting emails out there. Hey, if you have any information on this person, and then they would show the person's picture and they would show the person's full name. Well, you already have their name. So why do you have to put it out there? All you have to do is go, if you are really wanting information for whatever reason, for nefarious reasons, for legal reasons, for whatever reason, you wanted information on this person. You could have done your own research. There's a lot of information that just being American, you can obtain just from Google on people. Here in Canada, it's different. Or you could have just slid into people's DMs that you trusted, and maybe you knew that they may know some things, and you could have said, hey, are you willing to give me some information on this? Don't put it all on Twitter.
Right.
Because then what happens is that afterwards, especially people that we were friendly with, you have people, now you're just handing over Steve and people like Aaron saying, are you going to say anything about your friend so-and-so doxing this person? Because we've been calling them out for doing the same thing, right? And now they're turning to us and say,
in the hypocrisy game. There's the raising the ante, and it's like eye for an eye, bitch, that gets happening. And then there's just kind of ruining your credibility. I think you ruin your credibility when you do something like that. And so that's a bummer.
It's like you're talking about these people going low and crossing a line with doxing. Then you go on to dox someone. There wasn't any need for that. She could have, she knew the person's name. Her lawyer could have looked into her. She did not need to make that public. That was a clear FU kind of thing. And I just think, well, that doesn't help your case at all. Or really, I just personally didn't want to get involved because it was just like, I don't know this person. I don't know the full story. But seeing that, it's like, well, you're just going as low as them then by doing that. It's like if I go on about doxers and then dox someone myself, then I'm in the exact same category as them for that,
Yeah, I agree. But I will say, and I'm not defending Charlotte for this at all, I think she was in this state of absolute desperation. And I think she felt like nobody was listening to her.
Probably, yeah.
That's what I'm not defending it, Julie, at all.
Yeah, but she put it in Twitter, and then she obviously had people talking to her at that time. putting it in Twitter, that isn't going to get anyone to like
No,
talk to her about it,
no,
or it just made no sense to me whatsoever.
no, and it wasn't helpful for her case, and especially since the people that she was, I mean, the information that was being put out there, none of those people are in court. So I just, at the end of the day, what was it for? For what? But I think part of her case, they are still involved in a way that I think part of Charlotte's case, if I'm not mistaken, is because of what Veda, Steve, Aaron, and company did to her, it caused a ripple effect of people coming after her. Like
Right.
Kyle, like Katie is a liar, like Without a Crystal Balls, the Balls account, and a whole bunch of other people being nasty.
I think
to
we've
her.
seen how brutal and cruel they are. They post people's kids' pictures, for instance. What kind of mother would do this and that and the other? They contact people's family. Like, we understand. They pull rape reports, for God's sakes. We know what kind of people they are, and it's awful. It's horrendous.
Oh, wait, did you say, so You Decide has been calling out Aaron on Twitter for the last few days, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I don't know, Aaron gets into this thing is, I know that I'm better than you kind of thing. It's like, what? She loves to tell people that she's better than them. She actually says the word on Twitter.
How, Aaron? How?
Exactly. But if anybody's following the interactions between You Decide, who I love, and she has a pet pig, and he's the cutest. But anyways, if you've been following, she actually, I think just yesterday or maybe earlier today, she actually says in one of her interactions with You Decide, says, all this tells me is that I'm better than you. And she loves to tell people that. And You Decide came at her and said, how are you better? Kind of like, how are you better? And she's like, I was able to exonerate a police officer in a fake essay report or something like that. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Do you think that's her?
So
claim
that's
to
her
fame or
one thing
something?
that she thinks she found like an in for her virtue. That
yeah, and
is an excuse and a kill-all for everything
and
she's
she's
done.
equated it to like she's cured cancer or something like that. Like, it's
Right.
ridiculous, really.
Except all police officers have a representative. And it's not you, Aaron. So all police officers have a representative. And so if they feel like they're being attacked by the public or maligned in any way, they can reach out to the rep. So they do have some protection. Plus, there's the thin blue line, as they like to say. And generally, there's a power differential, too. So as a victim, as you're spilling out your guts about what happened to you, you might have a very skeptic cop that might feel very cold to your circumstance. It might feel like, you know what, you got drunk and you kind of deserved it. And I have to say, at the time when she filed the report, the state of Minnesota had something on its books that was our law that said basically, if you are drunk and you accuse somebody of date rape, then I just negated trying to censor that. If you accuse somebody of date then while you're drunk, then we're going to assume that it's consensual because you're both drinking.
Or you're not necessarily can actually, because you're intoxicated, you're not considered maybe a credible,
right?
Like,
you're not a credible source.
Yes, because you were that intoxicated. But anyways,
and because of that, there's a lot of people that have had date R happen to them in Minnesota, and it goes through as like, well, sorry, what we're gonna do about it. So I think that sort of similar to if you were to have a surgery, and I know Aaron got upset at my analogy, and so did Tina. But if you were to have a surgery and you said, the surgeon botched my surgery, that someone shouldn't go out and be like, well, now I have all your medical records and I'm going to out them on YouTube. Like, it's sort of similar to that. It's like, you can say you have a grievance with a police officer, but really, should somebody dig into it and put all your information out? It seems like it's immoral to do that. So
also, what was she defending this cop against? Didn't the cop has since retired? So it's not
the cop had retired, but he
Yes.
was in a small town and she felt like he was being attacked and his name was being besmirched in a small town. And therefore, she had to stand up for this police officer who was a quote unquote advocate for our
I don't think this
victims.
Was he really being besmirched? It's not like he was reprimanded for his, not handling KJ's case correctly or whatever it may be. He was obviously there right to the end where he was able to retire, and the guy's probably like in Florida, wintering in Florida, who is it? Stacy always says it's not help if nobody asked you to.
Yeah,
if nobody asked you for help.
Exactly.
You're not
wasn't doing
helping
it.
if nobody asked you to help.
She wasn't doing it for the cop. That was just an excuse.
That was an excuse, exactly. And the thing is, Erin not only thinks that she's better than people, she thinks she's smarter than people. We know exactly what you're doing. And obviously you're and why you're doing it. And it's so easy to say, well, I was trying to exonerate the cop. You mean the cop that has no idea who the fuck you are?
Right. It's an excuse. It's 100% an excuse. And really the truth is when she linked that drive of KJP's series of IGs and other posts that she made against this cop and the retelling of her story, it seemed like that it was all geared towards trying to say this didn't happen. This isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting to me.
Although all this time she was saying, I do believe KJ's story. I do believe that this happened to her up until like a couple of months ago, because now even though it's Charla coming for them, they all believe that it's at the behest of KJ, right? So now just recently she said, you know what? I no longer believe her story. I think her story is bullshit.
It's just weird, like how they've
the obsession is weird. The obsession with KJ is weird.
They are her biggest fan. Like, seriously, they think about her more than any of her supporters do.
They're never for every so for maybe every 10 people they're able to reach, KJ gains 1,000 subs. I don't know, their excuses. We need to stop her. Stop her from what? Stop her from what? Being a YouTuber? You are not going to stop KJ. KJ doesn't break TOS. She doesn't. Okay, you may not like the way she reports something, but she's very careful on her channel. She doesn't break TOS, and nobody's going to be able to cancel KJ except herself.
Exactly. And Llama Girl needs professional help.
I just want to say something. I'm going to make an announcement. Here's the announcement. There is no winning the internet. There is no vanquishing the villains on the internet. There will always be Molly's. There will always be Betty's. There will always be KJ's. There will always be people that you think are villains on the internet. And there's no winning the internet. So you can post warning signs and you can laugh at them. But that's it. You're not going to win.
And the thing is, KJ's just winning. KJ is just won. Do you know when they started this crusade with KJ, even long before the Toddy Westbrook lawsuit, KJ was like, what, at 100,000 subs? She has almost 400,000 subs now. What is it that they think they're doing? I don't think they don't give a shit. Nobody cares. Not a single one of them cares that, they have to warn these people against KJ. In my opinion, and I've said this before, with Erin, she has a personal axe to grind with KJ. They knew each other prior to being on YouTube because they knew each other somewhat in the in the anti-vax community. Erin was more of a bigwig in that community.
Aaron warned me to not dig into the anti-vax community. Like something so horrendous and awful is like it would be bad for you to do that. And I think that's interesting. That's a really weird warning. And with all her dark web talk, I think that maybe that might be
And I think
somewhere
she was
around that.
she was somebody maybe somewhat important in that community, or that people looked up to, you know. And here she knew KJ, who was probably a nobody in that community, you know. And then all of a sudden, the two of them end up on YouTube, and KJ has been able to be successful, and Aaron hasn't been. And that's where I think a lot of this stems from. I don't think this is really about Steve. Where Steve gets involved is she was now able to find, you know, people, like-minded people who disliked KJ like she did. She resents the fuck out of KJ. I don't care. I've said it before. I don't care what she has to say about it afterwards. I don't care if she talks shit about me on her channel for saying this. KJ doesn't leave her house, and she's making if you look at her social blade, $25,000 to $40,000 a month that woman makes. While, and I'm not shaming her in any way, but while, you know, because like you got to do what you got to do. Well, Aaron is 50 years old and still slinging drinks at a bar for minimum wage. I think this is all stems from resentment. That's it. That's my opinion. Anybody can say whatever they want about it, including Aaron. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you guys are like really my important point, because Llama Girl actually stops as a lifesaver and stops people having to click in Katie Joy's video by burdening herself to watch every single video and live stream of Katie Joy on all social media networks, and
while saying she's triggered.
Yeah, I think that KJ. No, you make a good point, Julie. I think that KJ has a case to come for Llama Girl if she wanted to, but really, is she really impeding? Like,
no, joking. Like what I meant was when you said like they're basically making Katie Joy like relevant, which I believe as well. Like thanks to them, I think Katie Joy gets attention. But Llama Girl thinks, well, she's doing a service for people so that they don't have to watch Katie Joy. So I was just joking about that, you know.
But 2 years ago they were like, oh, she clips, and maybe a lot of people weren't bothering to clip. Now everybody clips. I know that I can go into Discord and say, hey, who has the clip with this person saying this person, and somebody's got it. And if nobody in Discord has it, they know somebody where to get it, right? Everybody clips that. So she's not as useful anymore. She's just obsessed. I think it's gross. I don't care for the people that defend Llama Girl. I think it's gross when somebody comes to her Twitter and say, hey, do you have that picture of KJ's kid, that video of KJ's kid when he was about 3 years old, and he was running around in their kitchen, and he was just in a diaper and a yellow t-shirt? And she's like, yeah, hang on a second.
Has it.
And she
right
has it.
There.
And it's disgusting. And their argument has always been, well, KJ put that out there. She's allowed to put that out there. She's his mother. It's like all of us parents who at one point or still do on our Facebooks, on our Instagrams, we've shown our children, we've posted our private lives on our Facebooks, on our Instagrams, our kids' birthday parties, our kids' graduations. She's allowed, or share their Christmas picture or something like that. You know, she's allowed to put her child out there. It's what you guys now do with what she's put out there, where her child is.
Even anti-family vloggers blur the faces of the children. You know, like
it's
they
just
that. Yeah, they post him everywhere, and every critique Balls was getting, she was posting a picture of him. Like who does?
She was mad every time. Yeah, exactly. Every time. She even said one time, I'm sure she said it plenty of times, but one time she even said on Twitter, the more you guys come out at me, the more I'm going to dox KJ. And she kept posting pictures of Vaughn. Posting pictures of him. It was fucking disgusting.
It was. Right, guys, I'm going to jump off. Are you playing the rest of Cheshire's live?
You want to play some more?
I think
Or
we're
do you
gonna
wanna-
have to probably do this in increments because obviously we got carried away. But
Can you wait till I come back? No, I'm just
yeah.
joking. No,
When are you coming back?
I leave Saturday and I come back the following Saturday. But
Oh,
no,
that's
you don't
easy.
have to wait. You don't
That's a
have to
whole
wait.
week, so that's not that bad.
You don't have to wait.
Yeah, I think we're gonna cut it off for now. We got a little excited on our commentary, which is fine. I think that's fine. Thanks for joining, chat, everybody.
Thanks for having me,
Just
Spackle.
well, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. It helps to have a panelist, and I think I ended up drunker than I expected. So my apologies.
You're so hilarious.
My apologies.
No, don't apologize. I think it's awesome. No, but thank you for having me. I'll drop down and I'll let you finish your out thing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Spackle. Thanks, chat.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Justine and Julie and JC Do Good for joining our chat. JC Do Good has our own channel, and so does Julie Virgo. And so please sub to them. I would appreciate that. Be supportive of them. And really quick, I want to thank you one more time for those that super chatted. Thank you, Sheba. We appreciate you. Sheba is a great storyteller and a good friend, and I appreciate you very much. So I appreciate that $20 super sticker. Thank you, Gretchen. Gretchen can sing in Japanese, which is amazing. I can just sing in English, and it's very bad. So I appreciate that. Just saying thank you so much. Our favorite Canadian that is a lover of monarchs. We appreciate that. $27.99. Appreciate it. That's going to go in my penny fund for just daily survival. So I appreciate that. Shadow Tier, $2. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Shadow Tier and I go back to the Great Debate days, and we game a lot. So Shadow Tier has a Twitch channel and plays a lot of really cool games, from survival games and shoot 'em up games and MMOs and things like that. And so definitely check out Shadow Tier. Stitching for Sisterlies, I appreciate your talent. I wish I had that talent. I can draw a little bit. I can play bass and guitar a little bit, but I definitely cannot sew at all. And one of the things that's nice about sewing and creating like a quilt and things like that, it's a practical, it's not only an artwork, but it's a practical artwork that you can use for daily living. And that's pretty cool. And so I definitely appreciate you. So thank you so much. So everybody, thanks for joining the chat. I am drunker than usual, and that's fine. It's been a week. But I appreciate you. Trust we're here for you anytime. And I hope you have a great remainder of the week. Thank you. Bye.